Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs for caring for your home. Out. Indecision, overthinking, second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Belle Terre, New York, a wealthy couple is killed in their home, and the only other person there is their adopted son. An open and shut case, right? Not even close. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks. You sound sad about that.
Well,
and I am Jimmy Whisman.
What are you gonna do?
I don't want to be Jimmy Whisman, but I am. But we're happy you're Jimmy Whisman.
That's what I got.
So, thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week. Hope you enjoyed last week when we were in the hills of Marmaduke there.
Oh, boy.
Literally, if you need an explanation, you should listen to last week's episode.
Fascinating place.
When you hear Marmaduke, Arkansas, you picture a certain murder, and it didn't disappoint. Let's just say that. This week, complete opposite of that, as we like to bounce around and do different things. Wild case this week. This is one of the craziest ones we've done, and we did this as a live show this year and plan to do it throughout the year as a live show, which those plans have obviously gone to complete and utter shit. So we're just going to do this one now.
Everything else.
It's been a week, let's just say, for everybody in the whole world, obviously. So, it's been a week. We feel we're going to be upfront about this. We don't know when to bring this shit up, but we feel a little weird yelling "shut up and give me murder" this week.
It's awkward.
There's some weird shit going on, obviously, and there's there's a lot of murder that's not very fun.
No.
And we like to have fun with murder, obviously, as odd as that sounds, but that's the premise of the show.
It is.
Crazy stuff going on around murder, that, people are doing nutty things, and, panhandle behavior.
The
You've
least
listened to the
solemn
show
ones.
That's the thing. Yeah, we try to do that. We've had cases up here with some unsympathetic people being killed and some unsympathetic people doing the killing, and so it's odd. We usually, as you know, we've said on many occasions that we specifically do not discuss politics on purpose on the show, because people use the show as an escape from the world.
It's nice.
And that's great. And we want to do that as well. It's kind of, you get into, it's why it's a small town. You can kind of put yourself in another setting with some weird shit that's going on.
In the summertime, you can experience snow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You can have that. You can, what's it like to be murdered in a small town in Alabama or something? And you can kind of do that. But then sometimes the world happens and it can't be ignored, and it just can't be ignored. And especially when you're talking about things like murder and that sort of thing, it really can't be ignored. So we're just saying that we're trying. We understand. We went through a lot of back and forth of what we were going to do this week, and we said, do we put out an episode? And some people depend on this. It's not that we're important. We're not saying that, but some people go, I have my shows that I listen to that, no matter what I did that day or craziness that goes on, I can sit at the end of the day and I can listen to a podcast, or when I'm commuting or something, I can listen to a show and it clears my mind of other things. And then maybe I'm not such an asshole to other people. Whatever. So we thought, it would be appropriate to do the show, but we needed to address something.
You have to say it. You have to say this is all shit.
Yeah, the world is going to shit in a very, very quick way, obviously. We don't mean to depress you before a comedy show here, but it obviously is going to shit. And our stance on the whole thing, I don't know if you've listened to the show. If you're new to the show, this is a really strange introduction. Go back and listen to Marmaduke last week, and then catch up with us. Go back. This is, the show is great to listen to for your first time, but maybe not this opening part. This isn't exactly what we do ever in 174 episodes. We've never discussed anything like this. But when we're discussing the world and we're discussing inevitable police actions and things like that, you can't not bring it up.
Right.
And, we've had fun with people who are criminals, and we've had fun with idiots who have been taken down by the cops and things like that. But
and even more fun with terrible police officers.
That's the thing too, is that they're okay. Our stance on the whole thing is any sort of corruption from power, especially, is the worst possible form of anything. It is, because a normal person fucking around, even a mob boss, doesn't have the backing of. They don't have any tanks, and they don't have tactical gear and the authority to do that sort of shit and stuff like that. So,
and the difference is a plumber's mistake. Is
exactly.
There's less at stake.
There's less at stake. Yeah, obviously you have a doctor fucks up and kills somebody, but still that's really not on purpose or not even careless. They're really trying hard. There's no doctor that's like, fuck, I was thinking about my golf game, and they're concentrating. That's important to them too. They don't they're sued for a lot of money and things like that. Even if they cared nothing about human beings. Living or dying, they would
care about themselves.
They care about themselves. Yeah, our show is we're anti-murderer, but whether it's a hillbilly, we'll take a couple weeks ago, whether it's a family who buries a guy, digs him up, and stabs him or shoots him because he's waving a bayonet around at children at 2:00 in the morning and acting like a lunatic, so they shoot him and bury him. Whether it's that, which there's probably maybe better ways to handle it, or whether it is what happened in fucking Minneapolis, bad.
Yeah.
Fucking bad.
The worst.
And when it's somebody in authority, it's way worse. That's what we're trying to get at here. So we spent way too much time trying to get there, but you know what? We're fucking uncomfortable.
Right.
We're uncomfortable. We don't want to say the wrong thing. We want to be able to express what we're saying in a clear way. And we're a couple cards on the table. I don't know if you can tell. We're a couple of white guy comedians.
Right. So
we're not the authority on how the black community will feel about a police officer doing something wrong. We're not, and we don't claim to be.
Never.
You know what I mean? know plenty of black people and how they feel personally, but I can't claim to know. I'm not a black person. I can't claim to know what a black person feels inside about this whole thing because I'm not fucking black. I know what I feel about it. I'm fucking pissed. And I can't imagine. I would think it'd be way fucking worse.
Absolutely.
If it was more personal to it could happen to you more easily. So we fucking get it, and we are not blind to the whole thing, and we're not tone deaf to the whole thing.
No.
And we'll catch up with all the our email and fucking Patreon and everything like that at the end of the show. We're not going to waste time with that at the beginning of the show here. We wanted to get that out of the way instead, and we're not going to we'll do the disclaimer. It's a goddamn comedy show. It's hard to tell so far, but we promise. Comedy show. Murder's real, obviously, and murder's shit. And people around murders do stupid fucking things, and that's what happens in our show, so we make fun of them, and we have a good time doing it. And so let's do that and try to maybe be distracted for a little while by a crazy-ass goddamn story, because this story, Jimmy, it's one of the wildest ones we've done, as you know, because it's a live story. I know you don't, I was bringing it up beforehand. You don't remember any of the details. Jimmy, this is in Denver, and he had some whiskey. It's a long story. So, also in Denver, I was a little. I don't remember it as
Denver
much either.
Was very legal.
Because Denver is a cloudy city for me, and it was snowing outside. There's nothing more beautiful than smoking a joint in the snow when you walk around. It's just gorgeous. So I can't help myself. What are you going to do? As some of the listeners know, because they found me and hung out with me out there.
They stood in the goddamn snow to come hang out.
We did it together, so that's good.
And that's really a point too. Is that our fabric of our show? The people that come out to these shows are fucking unbelievable. And they will go to ends that are ridiculous.
And all different types of people come to our shows, and they everybody kind of keeps their. I don't know. They keep it together, and everybody gets along, and it's nice. So that's what I mean. It
gives me a hope that it can fucking change. Things can happen.
Hopefully,
and I think
there are nice people, is what we find out.
Unbelievably,
there's a lot of nice people, is what we find out from these live shows. Unfortunately, in the story, there's less nice people than we'd like to have.
Let's get into it.
Let's do this. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy. Okay. Let's head all the way to New York.
Yeah,
going back to New York, everybody. Last time we were there was Stillwater, which that whole case.
Oh, goodness.
That was a mess with the old lady. And
oh, goodness.
Face down in the snow.
And then her daughter gets what she deserves.
Great. Step, yeah. Right. I only have one granddaughter, and she's not you, was her exact words, which made me really like this lady and be sad she was dead. So we're going to Belle Terre, New York. Mm-hmm. Last time we did New York, it was like upstate, up the Hudson River, up by Canada. This is different. Mm-hmm. This is out on Long Island, and it is Long Island is another planet, if you don't know. Long Island is just a giant island of suburb that kind of extends into very wealthy areas as you get farther and farther down the island. And here, this is like a little outlet of Long Island on the northern shore.
Jut.
It's a little jut. So the whole island's a panhandle. Yeah. It's the definition of a panhandle.
Big strip.
You could use the whole Northeast. This could be the handle for it. And then this is a panhandle coming off of a panhandle. So panhandle squared. Yeah. Watch out, motherfuckers. It's coming. So it's about an hour. It's about an hour 45 to New York City to go there. About 3 hours to Philly, and about 4 hours up to Stillwater, which was the last episode. It's in Suffolk County here, New York. Zip code 11777, area code 631. It's a small little tip of the island. It's 0.9 square miles. That's it. So not a lot to it, as we'll find out. It was meant to be kind of a one property, and it got divided into a subdivision, like a whole area, a whole town.
Rich motherfucker.
Yeah, we'll find out exactly where it is, but yeah, it's situated on what's known as Mount Misery.
Oh,
since the 17th century. So
that's scary.
Yeah, you didn't name something Mount Misery because it was real nice and the fishing was good up there. I'll tell you what, them crappie was biting. So Mount Misery, here, let's call it. No, that's
everybody got skunked.
Yeah, your friend was eaten by a bear, and then somebody got a skunk in him, and then somebody else drowned in a tar pit or some shit. Like that mountain's fucking miserable. I ain't going up there again. It's some miserable goddamn shit. And since the 17th century, miserable for over 400 years. Fucking unreal, man. That's some serious. It's right when they found it.
Yeah.
Hey, this place is miserable, isn't it? Holy shit.
How much does this place eat dicks?
Wow, I'm looking around. It's a piece of shit. Oh, man, miserable. Mount Misery, it's this place. That way no one will come here.
Yeah.
They'll know. And instead, now they pay lots of money to live there, which is fucking crazy. At first, it was Belle Terre was first referred to as Mount Misery Point.
Oh.
Then they said, I don't know, for a subdivision, it doesn't sound good. Oh. It's, you put out a flyer, a little pamphlet back in the day, and people are like, whispering winds, fucking, breezy pines. Like, this sounds great.
And the book really shot it to shit.
Mount Misery Point. And they're like, damn you, Stephen King. Okay.
Everybody losing knees around here.
Reset, yeah. So but throughout the 1700s and 1800s, most of this area was owned by one family. It was the Strong family, who had what they called Oakwood Estate in the Mount Misery Neck section. And this was the first known dwelling in this area. And the first known dwelling before they built any houses was a shack constructed by a guy, African-American man named Uncle Mott.
Yeah.
They didn't even give this guy a fucking last name.
Like the applesauce.
Yeah. They were just like, hey, he liked applesauce maybe, and that was it. This poor bastard couldn't even get a fucking name. Nice shack. He built the first thing they could have gone, hey, you built something. What's your name? Nothing.
What's your first name, sir?
Uncle Mott.
Right.
He seems to like apples, I guess. Fucking ridiculous. The artist William Moore Davis had a painting about this of the shack after it was already dilapidated. And, 100 years later, he painted it. Well, 100 years later, it's a shack, so it's not going to be.
Yeah, shacks rarely hold up to weather.
Yeah, if no one's taking care of them, they're just going to tumble. Once Uncle Mott died, it's over.
You build a shack, eventually the word dilapidated is going to be before
coming.
it. Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah, it's always. You can't avoid it.
It's either murder or dilapidated.
Something.
You pick.
Yeah, murder or moonshine. One of the three. Death, moonshine. Something's happening.
It's never positive.
It's never positive. No. Bad things happen in shacks usually, not good things. No one ever says, I had the greatest childhood in a shack.
Yeah.
It was the best.
You never hear a CEO say, I just bought a new shack.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And if he is, he's a dick who's trying to be like a wise ass and cool.
Even the B-52 singing Love Shack, that sounds like a gross place to
sounds disgusting. It sounds like the walls are sweaty in there. Just sweaty because people are entering a shack with any sort of temperature control and fucking like animals willy-nilly all over the place. Is that jizz or sweat? I don't know.
Who cares?
I don't
Keep
want to
going.
touch it. But stay over. This spot's dry. No. Disgusting. So in 1902, the Port Jefferson Company purchased the Oakwood Estate with the purpose of creating an exclusive waterfront development of 50 houses.
That's a big place.
It's a big. They wanted to have a big development. It was an ambitious plan to make it like this ritzy area here. One real estate developer named Dean Alvord was chosen as president there, and they started making the Belle Terre Club.
Yeah,
and this was to draw people in because you had to have a jewel around all these houses to say there's a reason to come here.
We need a Bushwood.
That's right, the Belle Terre Club, which was a grandiose private members club at the center of the community.
Yeah.
So they built that, and members only. They wanted to attract rich New Yorkers to come there and make that their new little haven.
Yeah.
So Alvord was friends with the Whitneys, the Vanderbilts, the Astors, the Belmonts, every fucking
rich socialite fuck in New York.
Rich socialite douche fuck in New York, basically. Right. He was friends with, and they all became charter members of the club.
Oh.
He offered them all free membership so they would draw in the riffraff. Because anybody who, if the Vanderbilts are there, well, they must be
amazing.
It's where important people go. Right. I'm an important person. So they had the club overlooked Port Jefferson Harbor, offered accommodations for 100 people. They had a fireplace in every room.
Ooh.
Impressive.
Yeah.
18-hole golf course, tennis courts, horse shit, private bathing beach.
Oh,
ooh,
boy.
That sounds gross too.
Yeah.
Sounds like a love shack is in the middle of that private bathing beach. Everybody into the love shack at 3:00 when a whistle blows.
I hate that they put bathing in there.
That's what I mean.
I get that sunbathing is a word, but Jesus.
But bathing, I feel like I picture soap, and then it's weird.
I see suds on the ocean. What the fuck?
Once there's soap involved, this is
Get
strange.
out of the water, Mortimer. That's gross.
That's what's strange. You can swim with of people, it's fine. But once a bar of soap comes in, you can't even be in the room when someone's doing it.
It's all ruined.
They can't be on the phone. It's I'm over. I have soap on me. So strange. I don't understand why that's so different.
Right.
As soon as there's soap,
bubbles in your armpits. This is weird.
Oh God, now it's all weird. But if we're all just bathing in each other's filth together and splashing and frolicking, no problem. But if you want to clean yourself, hey, take that in private, weirdo.
Meanwhile, we all know that we're pissing in there. You just splash that in my mouth, you fucking jerk.
Who knows how clean your ass is? The whole thing is ridiculous. So they printed elegant brochures. There was advertising saying that this was a place where you could achieve the ideal of a perfect home in perfect surroundings.
Yeah.
Everything was
all class.
Beautiful. They built this big pergola thing out by the water for people to sit on there. Then in 1934, it was all destroyed by fire.
Great.
Whole fucking thing burned down.
Suck it.
Nowhere for the douche shits to go here. The pergolas were also deconstructed because of the upkeep was too much, and there was no club anymore since it all burned down. And the greatest part is about this, well, not the greatest, I guess, but kind of funniest from someone who never went to a country club as a kid or anything like that. For two poor kids, this is hilarious. There was a lapse in their insurance policy, and so they got nothing from insurance for this whole thing. This thing was uninsured, and they never got to rebuild it.
Whoops-a-daisy.
That's it.
Who died for that shit?
Oh, God, somebody was like, oh, God, looking through their paperwork. This says but then,
the accountant forgot to cut the check.
January to March. Where's February? We're not covered in February. What? Hey, we're not covered in fucking February. What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
Great.
Yeah, I would say here. During the 20s and 30s, after this kind of went out of favor, the place was just kind of sitting there. So a gravel company tried to buy shit and start dredging things and making it like an industrial area.
Really?
And the residents had a huge, they're all rich in this area. So it turned out to be a successful campaign against this company.
They ran them out.
Oh, but 50 rich people can run you out of anywhere. They can keep anything out of anywhere. You could have a million poor people, and obviously that doesn't do shit.
They bought bigger bobcats and ran them off.
Yeah, clearly that does nothing. But 50 rich people with a quote campaign can get a lot accomplished here. So today,
break into Buffy's Boogaloo.
Yeah, break into Buffy and Muffy and Buffy's Boogaloo. Fucking ridiculous. So they were ordered to cease operations in 1931, and now it's known. There's a cove here known as Pirates Cove, which I saw a picture of, and it's just a bunch of douches on jet skis. So
not a single pirate to be found.
No, really not that fun. I expected more. I'm going to be honest with you.
I hear Margaritaville. There's no pirate around
No
here.
pirate at all. Nothing. Just people with big speakers on their jet skis.
Yeah.
Weird shit like that. They're waterproof. I can play Buffett even if I go under. I'll fucking drown. Last thing I'll hear is "Bring away." That's it. I'll hear that shit though. That's my last thing I'll fucking hear. Woo!
Those aren't house speakers.
Jesus Christ. So Belle Terre is known for a law that evicted students from a university campus. It was a State University of New York at Stony Brook. There was people living there, students, so they didn't want students to live there together because, they're going to have parties and
they fuck off.
They're going to do shit.
Yeah,
so
because they have fun.
Yeah.
Well, I have a miserable fucking job I got to get up for at 6 a.m.
So they found a law from the 1700s that was meant to keep people from fucking, apparently, that says basically if you're unrelated by adoption, blood, or marriage, you're not allowed to live in the same house together. Unless the servants don't count, of course. Right. You can buy people, and that's fine. Yeah. But everybody else, you're not allowed. So they whipped that law out to try to keep...
Thank you, Catholicism.
Roommates are barred, and the court obviously said, no, you can't do that. A countess lived there.
Yeah.
Nadia di Navarro Farber, a Bulgarian-born countess, lived there, and she had this giant pink mansion.
Hell yeah.
It's the mansion from the movie She-Devil. You remember the movie She-Devil with Meryl Streep and Roseanne?
Yeah.
That's the big pink house is her house in this.
Hilarious. That was Meryl Streep's house in that movie.
Yeah, it's this big, and they didn't paint it for the movie.
Really?
They picked it because this crazy lady painted this fucking house pink.
Hilarious.
And it's a big pink eyesore. It's wild looking. It's Pepto-Bismol pink.
Hell yeah.
It is deep. And she also had this crazy mansion in the Bahamas. She was a very wealthy woman.
Did she sell a shitload of Mary Kay, and that's how she got the house?
It seems like it. She also had a
Cadillac,
a Chrysler
300M,
300 of those Aries wagons or whatever the fuck they had back then. A LeBaron. Yeah. She's got a bubblegum pink LeBaron sitting outside.
The Mary Kay heiress.
Yeah.
Moves into your fucking neighborhood.
No shit. So, but they ended up tearing the house down, finally. Mm-hmm. It was a 30-bedroom, 19,000 square foot home.
My Christ.
Which is fucking wild.
That's a lot of foundation.
Yeah, they finally tore it down after she died.
Really?
They said, this is, nobody, it was an eyesore. None of the neighbors wanted it, and to redo the house cost a lot because it's a giant fucking mansion.
Hilarious.
So, that's how that goes here. Basically, everything about it, let's give a review. Mm-hmm. It's all 5-star reviews because it's all people that live there.
They love it.
Here's the most common one. Quote, Belle Terre is one of the most beautiful places to live on Long Island. When you enter the village of Belle Terre, you pass through a beautiful gatehouse, which gives you a sense of exclusivity. Oh my. The homes are absolutely stunning throughout Belle Terre. The beaches are superb and the people are wonderful.
Okay.
They only stopped because they ran out of positive adjectives to bestow upon this town. Population of blessed, wondrous people here.
Snowy Malibu.
Oh, these people. Snowy Malibu. 679.
Wow.
So it's a small little outlet.
Very exclusive.
Yeah, that's the thing. And these places are kind of on their own little planet. Mm-hmm. These little rich towns, they don't exist outside of anything else. Whatever happens inside those gates is another world from everything else.
Wild.
Very weird. It's down 20% since 1990. Don't know why people are leaving. Maybe they can't afford it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. It's expensive. People are also dying.
That'll happen.
People stay here forever. Median age is 50.6 years old,
shit.
Which is way more. It's usually 37.
Yeah.
There's twice the over 65 population is normal, and all the kid demos are low.
Okay.
Like, they're loud.
Right.
We don't want them around
here. They
here.
made money elsewhere and moved here to get the fuck away from them.
Or they moved here in 1977 and their kids are grown up and now they're living out their golden years.
Yeah.
Because this is nicer than Florida.
Right.
So married population, usually 50-50. Here it's about 74%. So these are old. They won't get divorced. Too expensive.
Yeah.
They're going to stay together forever. And
then I'll have to move to Florida.
They just stare. They stare at each other over breakfast every morning going, am I going to outlive her? Is she going to outlive me? What's going to happen?
Enjoy themselves.
Who's going to have the end of their life be happy? Who's going to be like my aunt? I had this aunt.
Yeah.
My Aunt Ottawa was her name.
Yeah.
And she had this husband, and they were fucking together since they were 16 or something. And back in Italy, they moved here and everything. And then he died.
Oh, boy.
He dropped dead when they were like 88, and she was the happiest person in the world. She was so happy. She'd ride her bike around, with fucking ringing bells at people, all happy and shit. Be like, I've never been happier. Oh, I finally got rid of.
He's dead.
Literally, she'd say, finally he went. Finally, for so long, I just want to live my life. And he'd stick around. I'm like, he's alive. How dare he stick around and live? Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
So openly happy about it. We're like, good Lord. So we shouldn't be sad at all? Yeah. Weird shit, man.
By the way, lady, you married into this family. He was our blood uncle, so we're kind of mad at you for this.
Very weird. Very strange. So there is a very low divorce rate, 2% divorce rate here, usually about 11%. Like I said, that's expensive. And single with no children, 2%.
Yeah.
Not exactly a party town. Race of this town, not a lot of surprise here. 92% white, 0.0% black. 4.7% Asian. There's some Asian people there, and 2.4% Hispanic, which is not a lot. Let's just say 73% are religious because they're like,
it has to be.
Look at how great everything is.
Why would I be so blessed?
Have you seen my house?
Yeah.
There must be a God. This is amazing. 60% Catholic, as we know. Catholics are the Baptists of the North, obviously. 1.4% Jewish.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
that's
Hava, Nagila, Hava. It's been a while. Hava, Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey. It's been a while. We haven't been able to. Jimmy forgot that we sing that.
1.6?
1.4.
That's pretty heavy.
For New York,
for
it's not
most areas that we cover.
Long Island. Here, politically, it's about 45% Democrat, about 51% Republican in this area. It's a wealthy little area that's in the county of Suffolk County there in Long Island. Unemployment rate's about average for now. Median household income is where we get into the other realm. Normally, it's about $57,000. Here, $210,250.
4 times the national average?
Median household income.
4 times.
Yeah. 53% of people make over $200,000 a year.
Oh, my.
53%. Under $30,000, 4%. 4.
How many Spanish?
I was going to say, there are, I want to say, 2.4% Hispanic and 1.2% one or more races. So that's 3.6. I feel like that's very on purpose.
Jesus.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. It's not even haves and have-nots. It's just fucking, hey, this is great. Everyone has. The average citizen here would be like Leonardo DiCaprio laughing at the feds on his yacht in Wolf of Wall Street. That's your average citizen. Just him thrilled.
But even with the landscapers, the low income is in almost 40 grand. They're doing okay.
Not there.
No.
You can't,
you can't really.
Where are they? They're living in
really thriving.
They're living in southern Jersey and driving up there 2.5 hours every day if they make that. So cost of living is a little high, as you'd imagine. 100 is normal par. Here it is 197.1.
Jesus.
A little high. And the reason for that is housing is a 390 instead of 100. Median home cost, Jimmy, everybody buckle up if you're driving. Just grip that steering wheel a little harder. $901,300. Median home cost.
It fucking snows there.
Dude, this is insane. Under $400,000, 4% of the houses are worth under $400,000. So they're all expensive.
Yeah.
And those are like, and that's 4% make under 30 grand. So if you make under 30 grand, you good luck buying a $400,000 house.
Wowza.
So if you need to, well, I think there's nothing else we can do. But check out the Belle Terre, New York real estate report. Your average rent here, 2-bedroom rental, is $3,078.
As if
which is
even possible.
Like Manhattan, basically. That's
absurd.
Insane. Wow, that's nuts, man. A 2-bedroom apartment.
Oh, those people are dicks.
I found a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,308 square foot house. They say it's a magnificent 2-bedroom cape on a quiet dead-end street. It looks like a shithole, and it says lots of potential. It looks like it hasn't been lived in 20 years. 379 grand. That's the cheapest you're going to find. That's the lowest available here. Then I found this 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,957 square foot house. It needs a lot of work, actually. It's kind of outdated, but it's got these beautiful views overlooking the harbor and all this shit. It's gorgeous. $795,000 for that. Then
I'm going to be broke my entire life.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's like, I'm not doing this.
That sounds amazing.
And then here I have house number 3, 5-bedroom, 8-bath.
Yeah.
T-bowl for every b-hole, everybody.
And some to spare.
And a couple extra for the neighbors. 7,000 square feet.
Wow.
That's going to cost you $4.6 million, though. So enjoy that.
That's it.
It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous house.
I'd have to sell everything everybody I know
ever gave you and owns themselves and parents ever had. Jesus
Christ.
My
mom would have to die 6 times.
6 times over. Jesus Christ. Things to do here. This is just ridiculous. I won't even go over what it has. There's a few things. It's the Charles Dickens Festival.
Yeah.
And they claim, this is enough right here, they claim a gingerbread confection display.
Yeah.
Okay. And, quote, live elves.
Oh, no.
Live elves?
What if we get to dead ones?
Where the fuck are you breeding elves? There's no such thing as an elf.
Right.
So where are you getting live elves? That is creepy as shit. And the pictures of this shit, oh my God, Jimmy, there's people walking around as Dickens characters. So people are chimney sweeps.
Oh boy.
So what does a chimney sweep have all over them, Jimmy?
Coal.
Yes, soot.
Right.
Which is what color?
That's black as shit.
And so what happens when you put black all over your face in America in 2020?
You get canceled.
You look like an asshole. Yeah. So there's a shitload of people in blackface walking around. Thinking that, look at me, I'm participating in literary history when you're looking, they just look like people in fucking blackface. It's ridiculous. And they have like period clothes on too. So it's like, hey, look at me. I'm an asshole from 100 years ago.
Can't do that.
It's wrong. So, but live elves.
Yeah.
So, hey, there's that. Crime rate.
I'd be more impressed if they had dead ones.
Dead elves.
Yeah.
Elves we captured. They died in captivity and now we froze them and put them on display for you.
We have little pins in them on a board to show you their genus and their species.
I would believe they're real if they had like a, like a dodo bird, like a sample. I'd be like, oh my God, there are elves. Holy shit, suspended animation elves. So crime rate in this town, property crime is 75% under the national average.
So safe.
It's only about 25% here. And
I don't need to steal your shit. I got
my own shit. Once in a while, someone will wander in there to steal someone's shit, probably, but I'm sure they're caught quickly and dispatched of in the bay. Jesus Christ.
Pirates.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm going to show you why it's called Pirate Cove. That's not the cops either. That's just fucking a gang of rich people.
You're killed to the tune of Margaritaville.
That's Blackwater. That's a fucking private combat company they brought over from a unit from Fallujah to take over and check it out.
Drawn and quartered while they all sing, "Do you like pina coladas?"
Yeah, underwater. So, violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, non-existent, pretty much. It's under 10% of the national average. It's like 8% of the national average. It doesn't happen ever, pretty much. Just non-existent. Everything's great. Yeah. That said, let's talk about a murder.
Jesus. All right.
There's always one, damn it. I'll find it. I don't care how safe it is.
Fucking haven.
Oh, we're going to destroy this goddamn place. Let's do it.
I can smell the cigars.
Oh, man, you can. Well, you're going to smell the cigars. Yeah. Smell the cigars because I guarantee you this guy smoked one. Seymour Tankleff. Yeah. Let's talk about Tankleff and his wife here, Arlene. Now, they are about 60 years old here, residents of Belle Terre. They have a nice house. Yeah. They're very successful.
Hell yeah.
Now, Seymour here, I can't say Seymour and not think of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
But Seymour.
We will feed him.
We will feed him, damn it. Seymour looked like someone's been feeding him.
Yeah.
He's
big guy.
He looks... When someone says, "Oh, you fat, happy, rich bastard," like it's just a picture of this guy.
Smile on a guy with
a cigar in his mouth
Tommy
and like
Bahama shirt open,
and a big fucking thumbs up over here.
That round, firm belly.
Yeah, that's
like very well fed and taken care of.
He's got the physique of Rush Limbaugh, basically. Like that's what he
fat and happy.
That's what he looks like. Yeah, which is not a good look for anybody, including Rush Limbaugh. So. That's what he kind of looks like, though. So, what Jewish, obviously, here, the Tankleff family. Tankleff is his father was an immigrant, so he's from Russia, and his father came in, and like I said, he's got a Russian immigrant father who came over in the
hard regiment.
It's the hard times, yeah. This guy, his father came up like during the Russian Revolution and shit.
Surviving son of a bitch.
Surviving son of a bitch, exactly. So his father started businesses in Brooklyn. And ended up having a chain of poultry stores that he started. So he built up from a small thing and built up all this chain of poultry stores. So that was a good example for Seymour to see. And Seymour eventually marries his wife Arlene, and they have a couple of girls. So that's a nice little family.
Yeah.
They never have the boy they wanted.
Oh, he needs that.
They never had the boy.
Legacy.
Yeah, and they get to be a little older, and they're in their 50s, and they decide that they have a lot, and they didn't ever. Seymour's been working so much, so they haven't really had a chance to settle down, kind of be a family. So they decide to adopt a child.
Heroes.
That's great. Yeah, they adopt a young boy named Martin. That's where the Martin came from. Everybody calls him Marty.
Yeah.
So they adopt Marty. So they got Marty, and then so Marty is this lucky kid, basically.
Yeah.
He hit the adoption jackpot.
Smiling every day.
Oh my God! Think about it. Like there's kids. Think of little Orphan Annie.
Right.
And they're sitting there fantasizing. This is what they're fantasizing about. They're gonna take me to a big house.
Yeah.
They have a big pool, and it's like this nice place, and they you get whatever you want.
I'm not going from foster home to foster home till I'm 19, and then I finally go do my own life. This guy's gonna raise
me until you go to jail. No, this guy got group home to group home. He got put in heaven, basically.
Smiling every day. They call him Marty the Party.
Marty the Party.
Living it.
He's like, woo. Every picture of him, I just gave the woo, yeah, fuck yeah. So I had to do it. So.
Devil horns every day, all day.
Woo, motherfucker, yeah.
I won.
Party. Woo!
He wakes up every day and goes, it's not a dream.
Oh, this is amazing.
This is so much better than when I was just sleeping. I was dreaming, and I wasn't dreaming of anything near as amazing as
the
this.
Thread count.
Yeah.
It's insane. Even just that, the thread count. These people, they buy me
when you dream and it's fantastic, and then you wake up and your life is better than your dream?
That's what. You know how that happens all the time? Well... happens to me every day.
This motherfucker.
So, yeah, and they're older. His sister's, an adult out of the house and all that. So he grows up kind of as an only child in the house.
Jesus.
Just like, with these older parents, and he does what he wants.
It's amazing.
And he's a nice kid, too, everybody says here. Now, Seymour is in business at this point. Seymour has bagel money.
Yeah.
He's been into the bagel business for a long time now. This is where he kind of transferred from poultry stores to bagel stores. Yeah. And he's in business with, let's say, a few shady characters. Sure. Back east, I've explained this a couple times, but in case you haven't heard it, back east, everybody's a little crooked.
Sure.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's very few people I've ever met that are like on the up and up back there. Like, I don't know anyone back home in New York who ever actually got back in New York. You have to have a sticker on your car that says it's inspected. An inspected sticker says all on the windshield. Right. I don't know anyone who's actually got that sticker through an inspection where they went to a place and they said, inspect my car. And the man said, sure. And then he put a sticker on it and you paid him the correct amount.
All of this is on the up.
Yeah.
Your car is perfect.
I literally have never heard of someone doing that. Like,
don't
ever.
Even know where to go.
Wouldn't even know, because the guy would be like, yeah, just give me $20. I don't know what the fuck.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I'm not going to look at your car. I don't care. They don't give a fuck. What do they care?
I care?
Yeah, you slap it on there. When it leaves, shit could have broke. I don't know. It's not like they're going to go back to them and go, you inspected this car, and then it was out on the road. Right. I don't know what the fuck happened between here and the road. That's their problem.
I inspect so many cars.
That's their problem. It was fine when I looked at it. That's why it's got a sticker. Does it have a sticker on it? That means it was great. I don't fucking know. It's uncheckable. So it's just you pay for the inspection, you give the guy $20 and you got a sticker. It's kind of how everything is, If you want something, you look through it through nefarious means at first, hey, I'm looking for
Can I get it cheap? No, then I'll pay retail.
That's what I mean. I'm looking for a new TV. Anyone who's got who's in that business or whatever.
Don't make me go to Best Buy.
And I guess I got to go to Best Buy if So that's how it is. So everyone's a little shady.
In peace, Circuit City.
Yeah. And especially anybody who owns any sort of business back east, like a restaurant or anything like that, there's someone mixed in that's shady. They're, doing something under the table for the garbage collectioners. There's always something going on.
Chicken supply is cheap or whatever. Right?
Nothing is on the up and up, basically, because everything's controlled by certain entities, and it's a different thing.
It's too much finger fucking everybody.
Everyone's finger fucking. That's the way it works.
It's too much.
It's a lot. It's very complicated, but it's built up over time. So he's in business with a guy named Jerry Stewerman. Mm-hmm. Now Jerry Stewerman is a ridiculous looking man.
Yeah. He's got this
fucking weird hair. I don't even know how to describe this guy, but he looks like he definitely saw Goodfellas a few times.
Oh, boy.
And is very enthusiastic about it.
He loves them.
Loves it. Yeah. He's definitely has some shady dealings, but he's also a legitimate business guy as well. He owns a bunch of restaurants. He's got, bagels, restaurants with Seymour and all this type of shit. So, like everybody else, he's not all shady or all good. He's just kind of like people back there. He's doing a little bit of both here. Yeah. Now, apparently, Seymour and Jerry, who've been in business for a while, this summer, decided that they were going to break off their relationship, business relationship here. Okay. They're done with this with the relationship, or at least Seymour is, and he wants to break it off with Jerry. Now, Jerry, he's got his necklace is a gold bagel. Like literally, he's got a gold bagel pendant on his necklace. You know what I'm saying?
Looks like a butthole on his chest.
It basically looks like he's got a little butthole on his chest here. So he's a Homer Simpson enthusiast. He looks like a little donut. So he's got a gold, bagel necklace. He's got He's got the guinea fro going on, like Frankie Carbone in Goodfellas is what he looks like. And he always had fancy cars, and he has all jewelry all over him, and bracelets and rings, and
New York guy,
flashy gambler, always gambling, and like I said, a million guys like this back home. It's just
what a blast that must be.
Very normal
too.
Oh yeah, he's got to be. Hey, comes home at 6 in the morning. What are you breaking my balls for? That's how I make a living. Okay, I don't know. Like Henry Hill when he comes home. What is wrong with you? Normal people don't act like this.
You're not even wearing your gold butthole.
Oh, come on. Jerry, you come home, 6 a.m., you're not wearing your butthole. What am I supposed to think? Where's your butthole, Jerry? Then maybe we can talk about it. What, did you give it to one of your whores? Is that what happened, Jerry?
Unbelievable.
She's got your butthole now? Perfect, Jerry. Never mind.
You're betrothed. You're betrothed.
You're betrothed. No.
Oh, that was fun.
Sturman had a reason for, I guess, wanting to be flashy. He came from kind of a tough background as well.
Oh, I feel you, buddy.
He worked in bagel factories when he was younger, and we're talking big coal-fired ovens, and the workers would work. It's so hot and steamy in there that the workers are in their underwear working. Like New Jack City, they're processing fucking crack. It's crazy.
That's not how they're made.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. So, if you, next time you eat a bagel.
You wonder how that hole got there.
Exactly. There's a guy in his underwear, a very sweaty man in his underwear, whose job that is.
Right.
You know how hard it is? He's a well-paid man, too, because it's hard to keep an erection for an 8-hour shift. You know what I mean? That's a difficult task.
Yeah, bagel fluffers.
He's like, Jesus Christ, Ooh, boy, not even. It's the bagel business. You got to keep yourself hard. There's no fluffers here.
Get to work.
Fuck you think this is?
What, is your dick on a union break?
What do you think this is, Hollywood? The fuck in there. What, do you got to stand in now? Fuck those bagels. Let's go, mister.
You'd think that bagels versus poultry is a smarter play, because poultry, you got to fucking have a supplier of chickens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With bagels
you just need
eggs.
You make your own shit. Plus, bagels became caught on.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
It's a big deal.
In the 70s and into the 80s, bagels kind of became this national phenomenon, whereas always bagels before that were just kind of a New York thing. Kind of a New York, everybody in New York ate them, but otherwise it was like, I got me a bagel. I don't know what the hell this is.
It turned to this whole idea that was a little healthier than a donut. Meanwhile, you're shellacking 5 pounds of cream cheese.
Putting a bunch of cream cheese on it and whatever the hell else people are putting on it.
Low-fat cream cheese? It's still more fat than a donut.
And we put 8 ounces of it on there. It doesn't matter. We put an entire package of Philadelphia cream cheese.
If I hit you in the head with this, you'd be out.
Yeah,
this could be a murder weapon.
It's big. As a matter of fact, that's how this murder occurs this week. There's a bagel.
Drilled in the face with the bagel.
Cream cheese all over him. They're going to match it to the owner. So Sturman ended up branching out into Long Island and opening up his own bagel shop in Merrick on Long Island in the 1960s. So he was kind of a bagel, an early adopter of the bagel plan here. Then he expanded into Suffolk County in the 1980s when it was really blowing up there. And a ex-business partner of his remembers Jerry as a, quote, stand-up guy.
Okay.
So that tells you a lot there.
He's a piece of shit.
He's a stand-up guy. That means if his friends call him a stand-up guy.
Right. Nobody's ever been called a stand-up guy that was legit a stand-up guy.
That means
that's a bad man.
That means that if you guys do crime together, he won't tell on you if he gets arrested. That means that's a good guy. Back east style.
Stand-up guy won't even tell the cops.
Back east style. Right. He'll take the hit on his own. It's not a rat.
Hilarious.
Stand-up guy. So they became business partners, though. Jerry Sturman and Seymour Tankliff became business partners in the 1980s, and then what ends up happening is Stewerman ends up being heavily in debt from different business ventures and also gambling. He's heavy into gambling, old Jerry. And he borrows $500,000 cash from Seymour at a high rate of interest, too. There's a fucking VIG on this.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. This isn't like a friend helping a friend. Tankliff is one of those guys who's got $500,000 cash
just hanging out
that he can just loan out.
Yeah.
That's just
I don't need that.
It's not like, oh boy, I can't, I better get that back next month, right? No, it's not even that. It's just, almost like to have this over him so then he could fucking kind of take his part of the business, and that's also part of why people do this business-wise.
$500,000 is a lot of bagels.
And this is in the 80s, too, so we're talking a shitload of money to have cash to lend.
What do you think in the 80s, probably $3-4 a bagel at the time?
Not even.
I mean,
if
you just go in for like one that's toasted with cream cheese?
Shit, $1.75 probably.
Fuck, that's so many bagels.
Yeah, that's a lot of bagels you're selling. It's a lot of bagels.
Today they're like $6,
I mean,
right?
you can overcharge for lox, but I mean, other than that, it's difficult, know. So, $500,000 with a VIG, interest rate of 35%.
Jesus.
And it was secured by what?
Yeah.
Stewerman shares in the bagel stores. So this is his way of busting him out. And also several racehorses that Stewerman owned. He also are kind of up for collateral. So basically, if he pays back, then great. He paid back, and Tankliff made a bunch of money in interest. And if he doesn't pay it back, he's got his own bagel stores, bumps out his business partner, and he's got a couple new racehorses. Yeah. So there's really no lose here.
He's really got him by the golden bagel.
He's got him right by the golden butthole bagel, right by the guinea fro.
Right by the golden butthole.
My golden butthole.
Hilarious.
So the partnership apparently was going very badly because Stewerman had stopped repaying Seymour loans that he had a monthly nut he had to pay Seymour, and he stopped doing that basically, and they were kind of at that point positioning for control of the bagel stores. So Seymour was trying to secure his spot in the bagel empire, and Seymour was trying to bump Stewerman out of the bagel empire basically. So Seymour said he told a friend of his that Jerry had recently tried to get out from under his weekly payment there, saying basically, I need some more time. And instead, Seymour had insisted that Stewerman make the payments to him and bring them to him. They have a weekly poker game where it's a bunch of rich fat fucks that sit in a room and play poker. And at this weekly poker game is when Jerry's supposed to make his payments, basically.
Come on by, gamble with us and,
and drop my payment.
Pay up, motherfucker.
That's what it is. Now, Stewerman's an interesting guy. A little background on him here, besides the bagels and shit. In 1983, his son Todd was arrested for selling cocaine out of a bagel store that Jerry owned.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a little...
That looks shitty.
That looks bad. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all here. The case here... Now, the case was given to... his lawyer on the case was a guy named Gerard Sullivan. His law partner, Gerard Sullivan's law partner, was a guy named Thomas J. Spada. Remember that name, by the way, Thomas J. Spada, because later on he'll be the Suffolk County District Attorney.
Oh, no.
Some interesting things go on with him. So, this was the people who defended this Stewerman's son Todd in this cocaine dealing thing. Now, according to the police report, Todd Stewerman, who ended up being convicted because he sold to an undercover officer, they have him on recording to the undercover officer saying, quote, "Just call here anytime you want more blow. My father owns the place, so it's cool."
He did this on the phone.
Anytime you want. No, he told him, just call.
Oh, just call me anytime.
So he had a body mic on.
Wow.
Just call here anytime you want more blow. My father owns the place, so it's cool. In other words, so Jerry knows about it too, is what he basically said. My father's giving us the
very well aware.
Yeah, that's the thing here. One of his secretaries said, quote, about Stewerman, "He wore his capizios and gold rings and pinky rings. He tried to be everybody's friend, but people often shied away from him." Because he was trying to come off like a gangster as well. His next-door neighbors described him as an ostentatious man who drove a Jaguar and took frequent trips to Florida. Like a gangster, basically. And apparently, Seymour recently here, this is of the summer 1988, had told Jerry that he needs to pay every week and not to fuck with him. Seymour ain't taking no shit from Stewerman. So, the night of September 6th, 1988, here, Marty, Party Marty here. Now, he's obviously doesn't know any of this shit. He's
just living the fucking life.
He's 17,
smiling his ass off.
He's feeling great. He doesn't. You don't care what your parents are doing and their work and their friends. I don't know. They're like 60, whatever the fuck they do.
He's busy at Tower Records finding the newest album,
and that's what he's doing. Night of September 6, 1988. He's hanging out at the mall. That's where he goes to the mall that night. Long Island Mall, 80s. This is very
Remember when that was
atypical to go to the mall just to hang out.
You don't even buy anything.
There's other people would be there.
The only thing you buy is an Orange Julius.
You try that, and then you'd be like, "Hey, I hope there's girls here," and then you just like look at them and be like, "Oh, we could all talk to them."
I wish that I don't know what I wish.
I wish something. Damn it! I wish something was different here.
I really want to touch her. I just don't know where.
I don't know how or where, or I don't know how to get her to let me.
I want her to touch me. I don't know where.
I don't know how to get her to do that either.
Place, but I'm not really sure how.
I don't know. That's the thing.
I know how I do it. I wish she would do that.
I don't know how to get her to let me do things or to get her to want to do things to me. I don't know how to do either of those. So let's just stand over here and we'll look at her. I'll wait. No, don't. You wave. Dude, you wave. You got the best.
You fucking looked at her.
Dude,
what are you
got
doing?
The best wave.
Right.
Fucking wave. You got the best wave in the group, bro. Come on, you fucking know that.
I do the finger thing.
Bro, you know
girls don't like that.
You're the waver, man. You know that shit. Come on. Do the wave.
Get her attention. There she is. Do it.
It's like we were in Vegas one time, and my cousin, I forget, we went to some place where you had to like get in, and I don't know the whole deal. So
with like a bouncer on that shit.
Yeah, but it was we had an arrangement, but I don't remember the whole deal. So my cousin sends me up because he says, "You talk to him," and I said, "Why?" And he said, "You have the nicest pants on." What the fuck does that mean? You have the nicest pants on?
Well, then you go shopping.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he knew the person who was getting us in, and he wanted me to relay it because of my pants. I'm like, I don't even know who I'm saying I know. You're talk to him.
Mate,
you fucking idiot.
You're wearing Levi's. Your ass looks great.
He's like, you have
don't
the
make me say it.
Don't
make me say it. Your bulge looks amazing. Just cock to him.
I can see your cock veins. All right, fine. It's turning me on. What do you want from me?
Go talk to him or cock to him.
You
know what I mean? Cock to him.
Fucking, when you're doing it, just like nod downward, so maybe his head will drop down and he'll catch a glimpse of it, because then we're in.
I know we're in.
We're in. So the night of September 6th, Marty's at the mall doing all of this stuff that we just mentioned, and Seymour has his old man poker game that night. Going cigars and a bunch of old guys betting things and
whiskey.
Who knows what they're betting? Young Asian women. I don't know what they're betting with. I got a 12-year-old Thai girl. I got the rights to an 11-year-old Thai boy. What do you think? Butthole tighter than your bagel pendant, mister. So this goes on until about 3 a.m., this poker game. So it's one of these like old-timey, it's an all-night poker game.
And he's a first-generation Russian born here.
Yeah.
Is he born here or was he from?
He's born here.
Okay.
Parents are
first generation. Yeah. He's living large.
There's vodka on the table is what we're getting at here.
A classy one.
Yeah.
A nice one.
That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't taste like rubbing alcohol.
No, it's good. It's one of the good. That's a smooth.
Do you put cranberry in that? I will fucking kill you.
Never even heard of this brand. What is it? So Marty just turned 17, by the way. He's just turned 17. So he goes home after the mall. He doesn't pay much attention to his dad's old man poker game. He does his thing. He goes to bed. He gets up the next morning, September 7th, Marty does. He awakes at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Wakes up 6 a.m., gets out of bed, wanders into the hallway. He sees lights on in his father's study there still. That's where the poker game was. It's in his father's study.
Yeah.
So his father's got a room that's not even like the living room. It's just a spare room that's big enough to have a long poker game.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like...
That's a good life.
This is before man caves. This is like...
a study.
You touch my place.
Yeah.
This isn't even a man cave.
There's built-in shelves.
This is my cave.
Yeah, he's got built-in shelves.
Right.
Yeah, that's like there's it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
There's fucking like wood shelves that are
indented into the fucking drywall.
Yeah. Do you think he has one of those ladders that you like rolls back and forth so you can get to the
wheels.
top? Yeah, those are awesome. Yeah, I want one of those. Those are cool. Someday I'm in a house where I need one of those. That's my goal.
I'm gonna have empty bookshelves.
Oh,
and just the ladder there.
But I'm only gonna put books up on the top
shelf.
That's what I'm going to put any books I have, and then you work down. That's how it works, because I want to climb up there. Hold on, I'll get that book for you. Why don't you put it on the bottom?
You have a whole shelf of all homicide. That is weird.
Why would I have this ladder? Duh. Jesus. Fucking people.
All David Simon? That is impressive.
Wow, that's a lot of that. That's a lot. You would be horrified if you saw my reading collection. You really would. It's all crazy, weird shit.
It's like your inbox.
Like my inbox, exactly. So Marty sees the lights on, and he knew the poker game was in there. Yeah. So sometimes his dad will nod off in the study and leave lights on if he's working in there late or whatever the fuck. So Martin goes in the study to see what's going on, see if his dad's still in there, if the light just got left on. Opens the door, and the first thing he sees is his father, which is expected, except unexpectedly, he's bloody and unconscious.
No.
And clearly the victim of something that has punctured his skin, because he has stab wounds. Marty can't tell at first, but there's clearly large holes in him because there's a lot of blood coming out of him, and it's all over the place. Seymour's apparently wearing the same clothes he had on at the poker game, which had broken up about 3 hours earlier. Martin immediately calls 911. He says right there, he says, gets on the phone. This is a recording. Quote, "This is Marty Tankliff, 33 Seaside Drive in Belle Terre. I need an ambulance. It's an emergency." That's the first thing he said.
Doc Holliday's on the loose.
He's on the loose, damn it. So they end up putting him through. He says, Martin Tankliff, I'm his son. He's gushing blood from the back of the neck. He's got a cut.
Oh, no.
That's what he says there. They don't know what happened. They said, what happened to him? He said, I don't know. I just woke up. He's in his office. He's gushing blood. Please, is all he says. So they said, all right, is this a private house? He says yes. They go back and forth. Martin says it's a red driveway, I guess, for when you come here. I figured the ambulance could probably find it. But you never know. Back then, this is pre-GPS.
We got the address.
We got it. Right. We're good.
33.
So they said, we're sending an ambulance. He said, I want you to take a clean towel. And he says, wrap, the 911 operator says, wrap wherever he's gushing blood from. He's just trying to give him minor first aid instructions. Here, he says, tells Martin to hold pressure on it. Tells him to lay him down if possible, get his feet elevated, and wait for the ambulance, basically. Right. So what he does is Martin attempts to do this stuff, I guess. And then I guess at some point, according to Martin here, he decides to stop holding pressure on it, because he's supposed to hold pressure on it for a while. He just stops and decides to explore the rest of the home at this point. Which is interesting.
Place I'm not allowed in this house.
You know what? I feel like Dad has porn in that one. That one bookshelf up at the top of the ladder. I feel like behind the David Simon.
This room, I want to go look at some stuff.
Behind the David Simon, there's porn. I know
He's not going to have any objections right now.
No. What he does, though, is he explores the rest of the house, as he says. And he ends up finding in the master bedroom, he finds his mother, Arlene, in there. She has also been attacked.
Oh, no.
Clearly. And she is clearly not even alive.
Really?
She's not unconscious. She is dead and very, very bloody. So police arrive at the scene. And what we have is Martin standing here. He's not holding pressure on the wound. And two stabbed people, nobody else in the house, and Martin sitting here,
saying,
who's
I found him.
Adopted, saying, I found him. Not to mention, he had gotten a nose job. I don't know if that was his birthday present. In Long Island, basically.
Boy.
Long Island, that's your rite of passage. In Long Island, it's all Italians and Jewish people. So when you're 16, you get a nose job for your birthday, period. Or 17. We all need them. That's it. For some reason, I got fucking lucky. But most of you guineas out there and all the Jewish people out there, sometimes you guys need nose jobs, all of us. And on Long Island, it's a very popular practice to get your teen a nose job. So
lots of people that can't see the periphery to the right or left.
So he got that 10 days earlier. So he looks like he's been in a fight.
Oh God!
His eyes are black and his nose is all bruised and mangled. So when the police see that, they immediately go, two dead people. One of them's a big guy. You look like you got a busted nose. Let's hold you for a minute here. We're going to talk to you. And Marty here volunteers to the officers. Right away, he says, I think it was my dad's business partner, Jerry Stewerman, who did this. And, that's what I think anyway. That's what I would put it on.
Right.
So the cops are like, and he's solving the case for us too. Isn't he helpful?
You're a real party, sir.
Yeah, sir, what's your name? What a coincidence. So, that's how it works there. Martin says that he thinks that what's his name, Stewerman was Seymour and Stewerman are very close. Yeah, Stewerman was the last to leave the Tankliff house that night. So, the police arrive here and they kind of suspect Marty, obviously, we'll say here. Now, this whole thing, they ask him if what he knows about everything. The police arrive at 6:37 a.m. They take Martin to a police car. They place him in the front seat of the police car. Marty asks if he could go back into the house to wash the blood off of him. So he has blood from trying to help his dad. And they said, no, you have to sit there. He can't go into the house. It's a crime scene. Yeah. So he can't go back in there. So he sits in the car for an hour. At 7:39, Detective McCready arrives at the scene, and he's going to be the kind of main guy here. He walks through the house, comes outside, talks to Martin, asks Martin to wait for him in the police car, starts questioning Marty at about 7:55 a.m. Yeah. Okay, and they interrogate Martin several times here. They ask him what he did the night before. Martin described going shopping at the mall with several friends and leaving. He said after he got home, he ate some dinner, he took a shower, he went to bed. He set his alarm for 5:35 a.m. He woke up at 6:10 and, he hit the snooze a few times. I'm not perfect here. I'm only 17. He said he noticed the lights were on at the house, looked in his parents' bedroom, and there's no lights on. He didn't see anyone. So he went into the study, found his father in a chair in his desk, bleeding, called 911. Yeah. He got the pillow and the towel. He put his father on the floor. Right. And then he said he wanted to go look through the house to find his mother because he was worried about his mother. That's why he left his dad. So he said he saw his mother's body on the floor next to the bed, and he then telephoned his sister.
What?
Once he found his mother, which is an odd thing. He phones his sister, Sherry, to tell her what happened.
Marty, you're not doing yourself any favors, bud.
No, that's a weird thing. Go put pressure on your dad's neck. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Try to save the guy.
Yeah, so Martin again told Detective McCready that he believes Stewerman probably did this. And following that, McCready goes back to the detective here, goes back to the Tankliff residence, looks through the crime scene a little more, going through everything. About 8:10 a.m., another sergeant comes and he inspects the house as well. McCready introduces Sergeant Doyle, who just showed up, to Martin, and asks Martin to explain to the sergeant what he'd done the previous evening. Have him repeat his story, basically, is what they do. So he repeats it a second time. 8:15 a.m., another detective comes. He joins the group, so now we got three Stooges and Martin. And Martin's asked to repeat his story a third time, and Martin stayed in the car and talked to them. And they believe from three different tellings of the story that they found some inconsistencies in the telling of the events of the morning, basically, and the prior evening. So they asked Martin to come down to the police station for further questioning. And the inconsistencies appeared as this. Martin did not appear to have blood on his clothes at that point, which was an odd thing. One of the retellings of his story had him awakening 6 minutes earlier than another retelling, because he was giving exact times.
That's weird.
Which is a weird thing.
I don't know. How long does it take you to wake up?
That's what I'm saying.
I got out of my bed at 6 o'clock, but 6:15ish, 6:17.
Wake up. I'm still not really up. I got to be honest with you. I haven't had my coffee yet.
6:23. I still had a boner.
Yeah. So. But I guess he gave the same time twice, and then one of the times he gave 6 minutes earlier. He also said, he said, there was a discrepancy between the times he said he had showered the evening before, said different times. And he also said that he could not see his mother when he first looked into the bedroom, but the detectives could easily see her body when they looked into the room from the doorway. So he said he had to go in to find her, and they go, she's right fucking there. What are you talking about? So that was that.
They get there, the sun's up a little more.
Well, yeah, it's September. Sun's up pretty early, too. So Martin said he looked into the room at 6:11 a.m. And, the sunrise that morning didn't occur till 6:25. Okay. So they're saying that could account for that. So, they were like, okay, that's fine. Plus, Martin wasn't wearing his glasses when he looked into his parents' bedroom, and he wasn't looking for a body on the floor.
Great point.
So the detectives are saying, we're looking on the floor. He's looking on the bed, and if she's not there, he's going, what the fuck? You're not looking on the floor. So that makes sense. So the detectives, McCready and Rain, they said they do consider him to be a suspect, they say, with each other by about 8:35 that morning. Some of the inconsistencies are a little too much for them. They request Martin to come back to police headquarters, and so they can get, they say, we need further background info. Why don't you tell us more about that Stewerman guy, too? Yeah, tell us about him. Now, they said, he didn't have to go. He's not under arrest, but he goes. So the thing is, later on, because his dad's still alive, Seymour's alive.
Really?
He's unconscious in the hospital. All of his family goes there. By 11 o'clock, they go, where the fuck is Marty?
Yeah.
Why is he not here?
He should be here.
The cops didn't tell them that they took him to the police station.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah, they just took him down there. And then finally, when the family members become alarmed, they ask an officer at the hospital, can you find Marty, please? Yeah. So this officer talked to Detective McCready, who then reported back to the family members that Martin was going to the police headquarters to tell police about his father's relationship to try to help the police find the murderer, and that we'll take him to the hospital when we're done with him. Don't you worry. We'll bring him there. They don't say he's a suspect because they'll immediately hire him a fucking lawyer because they have money, and they would like to not have that happen. So,
but if I'm Marty too, when the cops say,
by the no Miranda rights at all.
None
this
yet.
is he has not been considered a quote. You have to, as soon as it turns to you're a suspect, you got to Mirandize him. They still haven't Mirandized him, and they've asked him for a story 3 times and taken him to the fucking police station.
As a 17-year-old, your mom's dead.
You're a little in shock.
Your dad's clearly in distress, and these aren't even your birth parents. These are people that have been taking care of you. You don't want to be in that fucking house.
No,
I don't want to be there.
Probably not. I'll
go with you guys. Let's go.
Let's go. And
you
plus,
want a bagel?
Yeah. Well, either way, even if I did it, I'm going to act like I'm on your side, and if I didn't do it, I'm going to want to get the fuck out of here. One of the two here. So they tell him all about that. Now, the reason was they never really ask anything else about Jerry Stewerman. They go right into Martin about his involvement in here. So when Detective McCready's alone with Martin in the police car on the way to the station, he asks Martin a little more about discovering the body and the 911 call and all of that. At the station, he's further questioned, this time by Detectives Rain and McCready. This starts at 9:40 a.m. They question him without interruption for 2 hours.
Ooh.
Okay, by the way, no Miranda yet. Nothing. No rights read, anything like that. It's a 10 by 10 windowless room, a fucking interrogation room. And, these are McCready's a 225-pound, over 6 foot tall kind of big guy. Yeah. And, they're both, Rain is 6'2", 200 pounds. They're both big guys. Right. Martin's 5'8", 150 and 17, and
with a new nose.
Yeah. In a 10 by 10 room with these guys.
I don't want to fucking scuffle with them. I got a new nose.
Yeah. You want to help, I assume. So they begin the interrogation, the detectives do, with some small talk, and then it escalates to being very accusatory very quickly. Yeah. McCready challenges Martin, basically says, how come I haven't seen you cry at all over this whole attack? Jesus. I haven't seen you cry. And Martin said that he cried before the police got there, and the Detective Rain said, that's a short period of grief, don't you think? You cried for 10 minutes while you're waiting for the ambulance and now you're fine? Yeah. Well, some people deal with shit later. Yeah. Some people deal with the whole thing. Yeah. Their body doesn't do that, and then later on they have a breakdown at the end of the day. Yeah. Or some people,
maybe next week.
You never know. Some people also, he's adopted. We don't know what the fuck he's been through.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This may be minimal.
Yeah, he could have seen his mother beheaded in front of him when he was 4, for all we know. He could have Dexter's background. Yeah. We have no fucking idea.
He could have been raped by foster parent.
That's what I'm saying. We have no clue what his emotional
officer. This is minimal.
Yeah, what his emotional well is like. Yeah. How deep it is, basically.
Seen a grown man walking towards you.
Yeah.
Naked with a boner. You ever seen that? That'll make you cry.
Have you ever seen Airplane?
That too, yeah. Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Ever seen a grown man naked? You ever been in a Turkish prison?
The movie's great.
The detectives, again, they find more inconsistencies with Marty's story, and they go over again with him these events here. They keep going over it and over him. They also challenge him about the times. When did you do this? Did you do this or do that? Did you get dressed then or did you get dressed then? Because they really got to build a timeline here.
It's got to be specific.
Yeah. They challenged his inability to look in the find the mother. Like I said, they said, don't you have blood on your clothes? Now, shortly before 11 a.m., Martin is asked by the police to demonstrate how he attempted to render first aid to his father. So he gets Detective Rain on the playing the role of Seymour. And at that point, McCready notices a spot of blood on Martin's shoulder. Okay. Detective McCready pulls Martin's sweatshirt aside and points out the blood at that point. Both the detectives then kind of basically say, that's all you have. How could you have rendered all this assistance without getting blood on your shorts or sweatshirt, basically? Because you're showing us what you did, and how would you have not got blood there? So they tell Marty that his story is ridiculous and that they don't believe him, basically, there. So they leave him there. They tell him, we don't believe you. They question him a little bit more. He says he believes that he was wearing his sweatshirt when he assisted his father, but he wasn't sure. Detective suggests that maybe there's no blood visible on the sweatshirt. Martin must not have been wearing the sweatshirt when he provided first aid. And then Martin was like, yeah, I guess I wasn't wearing it then. So they were like, oh, so now you're not wearing it. I thought you said you wore your sweatshirt 5 fucking times.
You just gave me opportunity. I don't know.
Well, that's what they do. Yeah. They go, well, maybe that you did this. And then you go, okay. And then they go, yeah, that's interrogation.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's trying to fuck people over.
That's ugly.
Well, yeah. It's you're trying to get people to admit to shit they don't want to admit to. That's ugly shit. So then he next suggested that Martin maybe was wearing a towel, and Martin said, yeah, maybe I was wearing a towel. So generally people don't do that.
Okay.
They don't just go, yeah, maybe I was doing that. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I was doing that. That's a weird thing. Like they say what they did. Right. And when the cops suggest things to make the story smoother, they just agree with it because that makes it smoother for them.
It's so fucked up. They help me. The human brain, it either hyper absorbs everything that's happening, or depending on trauma in your life and how it's affected you, you fucking block out everything that's happening, and then you start remembering it late. Like when I was robbed at gunpoint, I didn't remember all the fucking details for the next couple of days, because that's what my body's conditioned to do, is to block shit out.
No, that makes sense.
To not fucking absorb it and ruin me further.
You would like know when did you take your father the bloody sweatshirt off? Like that's something that you would probably.
I don't know. They asked me when I pissed my pants, and I couldn't remember.
True, but if you took your pants off, you'd remember that. You know what I mean? That's a different thing.
I don't know. I didn't take them off.
Well, you'd know the course of events. I took them off after this happened. You know, like that. So I think that's what they're saying. Did you have a sweatshirt on? Help your father, then take it off and have it all bloody, because you'd go, oh wow, my sweatshirt's bloody as fuck. So. Then they said, Detective McCready says that maybe, we think possibly that maybe you're responsible for Seymour's injuries, here. You failed for the extent of it. He goes, have you ever thought of that? You didn't properly apply pressure to the wounds. You went walking all around the house. And then at 11:45 a.m., they leave Martin sitting there. McCready leaves the room saying that he has to go get a telephone call, right? He leaves the room. He's out of the room on the telephone, allegedly here. Detective Rain puts his hands on Martin's knees and tells Martin that he can't accept the explanations for the lack of blood on his clothing. So he tells Martin that. A minute later, McCready comes in and he says that he's been on the phone with the hospital and that Martin's father, Seymour, has come out of his coma. And positively identified Martin as the attacker. Whoa. What do you say to that, Marty? Problem is, he's still in a coma. This is not true.
Oh, you bastard.
This is not true. And this is, by the way, this is legal. This is 100% legal.
They're fighting like an ex-wife.
Yeah, it's you can gaslight the fuck out of people legally in an interrogation. You can tell them anything you want. Yeah. You can tell them he woke up, he said that aliens came down, forced you could tell them anything you want, and it's totally legal.
I just got off the phone with her, and she said, you did
pretty much
that lying bitch, and then it didn't happen. I want a divorce.
That's it, right there.
I hope he divorces these cops.
So he probably wants to. So he said that he has identified you as the attacker. McCready tells Martin this. Marty here, he says that now he's obviously directly accused of all this. He's a little bit freaked out, I would imagine. Sure. They tell him that. He says that, he said that they tell him that his father had told him that he was the one that attacked him, and that, you know, he also murdered his mother and all this type of shit. And Marty's saying, no, I didn't do that. I'll take a lie detector test. Give me a lie detector test. And basically they said, no, you're not getting a test. You're not getting a lie detector test. You know, you're going to tell us what the fuck happened. You know, your father has told us that you did it. So Rain, at this point, Detective Rain, says, was your father conscious when you beat and stabbed him, or was he sleeping? Now, by the way, they still have not Mirandized him.
Not one.
He is, they have now it's not only they think in their head he's a suspect, they full on accused him of doing it. Yeah. And they still have not Mirandized him yet. He explicitly did that. Martin said that, you know, he's sitting there and they asked, you know, was it possible that he could have attacked his parents and maybe you blacked out and don't have any memory of it? And Martin said, Martin, what should, you know, is that possible? And he goes, I guess. He doesn't know. And then they ask him, Martin, what should we do to a person that did this to your parents? And Martin's response is, quote, whoever did this to them needs psychiatric help. Which is not the response that you should probably expect from this person.
I'd like to hang them up.
Yeah, they deserve whatever. No, he says whoever did this to them needs psychiatric help. At this point, Martin himself says, quote, could I have blacked out and done it?
Oh, no.
That's what he asked the cops. And so, and then he asked, could I have been possessed by the devil, maybe?
Oh, no, Marty.
Was I possessed and blacked out and did this, maybe?
I listened to a lot of Motley Crue.
And then they said, I don't know, let's explore it. Yeah. And he said, okay, it's coming to me.
Oh, no.
So now Martin's going to talk. He said, it's all coming to me now. They encourage him to keep talking. Then in 11:54, they go, hold on, before you do that, you have the right to remain silent. That's when they Mirandize him. After he's admitted this and everything, they go, before you fully confess, we should probably Mirandize you, even though...
This part we need.
This part needs to be on the up and up. The rest of it, who fucking cares here? So they do that. No break whatsoever, just the Mirandizement and whatever. Then they get a tale from Martin. Martin talks about how he killed his mother and attacked his father. The detectives assist him a little bit by providing information they got from the crime scene. Marty explained that the previous day, he decided that he would awaken early, set his alarm so he could kill his parents.
Yeah.
He's like, I said, you know, early bird gets the worm. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to wake up at 10:30, roll out of bed, have a Pop-Tart, then murder them.
Right.
No, we're going to fucking do this before the sun's up. What's sunrise? 6:25? Let's get cracking.
The murder bird gets the worm.
The murder bird gets the worm. That's right. The meth falcon gets the worm. So, he said he would awaken early.
That's fucking... I've never heard of somebody doing that.
Gonna set an alarm. He's a studious kid.
He's got shit to do.
He said he awoke. He went into their bedroom. He said he went into their bedroom. He said he was naked when he went into the bedroom, so he wouldn't get anything on his clothes.
Good Lord.
He said he went in with a dumbbell from a set of weights in his room here. He basically,
So you got a naked guy.
Well, his dad weighed 250 pounds, so he needed a weapon, and his mom's hefty, too. His mom weighs 190 pounds. She's a sturdy lady.
Yeah.
So
he got one dumbbell or two?
He's got one dumbbell that he's going to go in there.
That's an awkward walk.
Yeah, he said he went in there.
Yeah, a couple extra pounds on one side. While you're naked, flopping your dick around.
That's not a good look.
A new nose.
Skinny 17-year-old with a black fucking black eyes and a bruised up nose with his fucking dick swinging.
That's my nightmare.
Walking
I don't wake up to that.
Think he wore socks? No. Couldn't wear socks. That would ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that'd make it funnier, though. Just had like black socks on.
Damn it.
Like black dress socks. So he said he went over there and he killed them with a dumbbell, beat them and hit them in the back of the head. And the motive here, basically, they elicit what they call a series of grievances that Martin had against his parents, including the unwillingness of them to buy him a new sports car that he wanted. Yeah. He said instead he got a few-year-old Lincoln.
Bastard.
His dad's old Lincoln. That's like 4 years old.
Listen.
When I was in high school, if you gave me a 4-year-old Lincoln, I would have blown you. I had a fucking 12-year-old car with rust and it didn't work half the time. For $100. Get the fuck out of here.
Mine was 37 years old and I had to build it.
Yeah. There you go. Mine was $150. So
the first time I took it out of the backyard, I forgot to put the bolt on the steering wheel, and I went to shift, and you pull back on the steering wheel a little bit when you shift, and the steering wheel came off.
That's a panicked application.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay, before I hit this house,
30 miles down the road, trying to fucking wiggle that thing back on, and it has little teeth on the back that have to line up perfect.
Well, yeah, so obviously, so it doesn't just pop in and out like that so easy. That's the point. You don't want it to be just flying around.
That was hilarious.
But he's pissed about that. He wanted a brand new sports car. What the fuck? Who doesn't? So, they a bunch of him. Here is his confession because he wrote it out.
Right.
This is in Martin's handwriting, as you can see here.
Yeah.
This is actually
scribbles
written on. This isn't like just printed. This is him.
I like that it's all in uniform line, though. I like when they go at a slant.
He did
on a white piece of paper.
He's got nice cursive. He's got a good cursive. Yeah. He says, quote, yesterday I went to the mall shopping. I was supposed to be home early enough to set up the card table for my father and his friends. When I got home at about 9-10 p.m., my mother was mad at me because I didn't do it. My father punished me. My father punished me mostly, but my mother had been siding with my father lately. I was angry because my father's partner, Dan Hayes, was going to stay with me when they went to Florida in October.
He got a babysitter.
So they weren't going to leave him to be all alone in the house and have parties.
It's not even the hot chick from down the street.
No, it's Dan Hayes, his father's business partner.
It's a fucking 55-year-old guy.
Old man is at most the most fun he'll be is he'll go, want some scotch? Not really. I'm 17. All right, then.
I don't know. If you have one of your dad's beers, I won't tell him.
Drink it neat. I'll tell you that. Don't be a pussy. That's what he'd tell him. Okay.
So the ice cubes.
Yeah, no ice cubes. So he then says Florida in October. Then he says, quote, they ruined my summer by not letting me use the boat as much as I wanted. Those motherfucking bastards.
I wanted to be a pirate.
Okay. It's bad. It's bad to be not have a home and to be an orphan. But if you're going to be adopted by people who won't even let you use the boat as much as you want, what's the fucking point?
What, I got to be here and just stare at it? This is more torture than being in a foster home.
Might as well be in a group home. This is ridiculous. So, that's what he says. He said that wouldn't let me use the boat as much as I wanted. Quote, they wanted me to drive the crummy old Lincoln. They were fighting a lot and taking it out on me. When my mother sided with my father about the card table, I was really mad. I decided I wanted to kill them both. I set my alarm for 5:35 to make sure I would wake up before them. I decided to use the barbell when I went to bed. When I got up, I was surprised to see the lights still on. When I looked in my parents' room, my mother was there. She was sleeping. I went down to the office and saw my father sleeping in the chair. I decided to kill my mother first. Yeah. Well, as you would. Well. Ladies first.
Right.
You don't want to be rude.
I want her to hear this.
You don't want to be rude. That's the thing. What about me?
Right.
I'm your mother, Jesus Christ.
I picked you.
Right? She probably picked him out.
He was just there.
He was like, fine, you can have one. I don't care. Pick whichever one you want. That's what he said. I don't know. He's puffed on his cigar. Whichever one. I'll be in the car. I don't know. Bring him out when you're done.
It'll look great in the backseat of the Lincoln.
It's going to be good. Let's go. Need that shit for fucking for Hanukkah cards. Right. So he said, I decided to kill my mother first. I ran across the bed. I got to her quick. I hit her 4 or 5 times on the head. She fought me. I went to the kitchen and got a knife. After he hit her 4 or 5 times.
So he dazed her.
He probably knocked her the fuck out, I would think. On that hard, she fought me. I went to the kitchen and got a knife. I ran back with the knife. I cut her throat. I don't know how many times, but I stabbed her also. Mostly, I cut her at the throat and neck. And then he says, I left too, and it stopped at that point because basically an attorney is there for him because his family figures it out, and this whole shit gets shut down at that point once they realize what's going on.
I left too. The door opens and goes, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up now. Shut that off. I'm going to talk to my client. Not another word. Every time on the wire, that's what the guy would come in.
Fuck did you say that?
D'Angelo, no more. So you're going to wind up hung in a prison library. You know it's going to happen. So, watch The Wire. Anyway, so, he said that he, basically that doesn't get written down anymore, but his verbal, finish was that he went to the length of the house, found his father in the study, and he proceeded to beat and stab his father there. And then he said he went to the bathroom by his bedroom, far from the study, without leaving any trail of blood somehow, showered, washed off the knife and dumbbell, returned them to their respective locations, called 911 saying, "Oh my God, I just found my dad. Look at this. This is terrible."
What a story.
Yeah. So 1:22 p.m., this tale that he tells to the detectives finally is completely over when a representing attorney that's there for him on behest of the family members shows up, and then that's that. Okay. So later that afternoon, Martin talks on the phone to his half-sister, Sherry, again, and Detective Rain later will say he overheard this phone conversation because he was standing close to Martin there, and she said that this is the sister testified that will testify later, that Martin told her he confessed because the police made him, and that he said he was innocent to his sister, basically, at that point. So anyway, he's in jail. Yeah. He's arrested, and Seymour's still in a coma there, still in a fucking coma. About a week after the attacks, though, after this all happens, Seymour's still in a coma in the hospital. Jerry Stuerman decides that he's going to fake his own death and flee to California under an alias.
That's a good place to go.
Why not? This is an interesting thing. That's an odd deal here. He had been stopped paying the debts, like we said. Their relationship had soured. He owed him $500,000, all that sort of thing here. Now, the week of the attacks that went on, the week after the attacks, Jerry did some really weird shit. Basically, he withdrew money from his and Seymour Tankleff's joint bank account for the business, withdrew that money. This is $15,000 he withdraws. Then Stuerman named his girlfriend the beneficiary of his life insurance policy. Then he faked his own death, which is always an odd thing to do. Shaved his beard, changed his hair weave, because that little guinea froze a weave.
It's not even real.
He got different hair. Totally changed out his head, and then assumed an alias and fled to California, where he stayed in the Big Sur area, which is an area where you can fucking disappear.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's
it's
an area.
Also expensive.
If in the touristy areas.
For $15,000?
Big Sur's a huge area.
He's trying to be there for like 6 days.
Well, Big Sur also back away from where all the touristy shit and all the city shit and expensive shit, there's still fucking hippie and cabins in the woods and shit out there. Yeah, because that was for a long time, Hunter Thompson lived there for a while. It was a big kind of when people were running. It was like the continental United States is Alaska, basically. Like if you were running from something, or if you were like a weird artist that wanted to do something, or you had like a weird, sexual cult, you and your 8 fucking women wanted to go and like fuck weird things, that's where you went. You went to Big Sur, and everything was considered fine. They had some like hot springs there and shit. It's a weird thing. Hunter Thompson describes it really well. It's fucking weird. Really weird.
And it doesn't exist like that today?
It's different today because then it became touristy, but it's a huge area, though, that's more than just what's there.
Okay.
So Jerry, he leaves notes behind to fake his death, instructing his children and his girlfriend on how to collect on his insurance policy. And he's eventually, like I said, found living under a hair weave, under a fake hair weave also.
Hair weave alias.
A hair weave and an alias in California. He's contacted by the police. The reason why they take, such great measures to hunt him down is they need him to be a witness against Martin.
Oh, what?
Not because they're curious about anything he did. They're, they need him as a witness at the trial here. So they find him. They find all sorts of people from the family and from the neighborhood all give favorable. They ask them all, does Martin get along with his dad? Everybody gives favorable testimony on Martin's behalf. All sorts of affidavits here saying that they're, He's a nice kid. They all get along well. They're a good family. Norman Tankleff, who's Seymour's brother, stated that Martin and his parents had a good, healthy, and loving relationship, and Norman had spent substantial time there with Martin and his parents, and said that they got along wonderful. There's never any signs of hatred between anybody. Everything was wonderful.
Yeah.
So, a month later, Seymour comes out of his coma.
Oh!
Because he died. Sorry, I had to. I didn't know myself. Sorry.
He's not in one anymore.
I know, I'm sorry. What the fuck? Once in a while you have to. You have to. So anyway, he is good news. Yeah. Good news, bad news.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I hope the doctor said it.
Yeah. Good news, bad news. Good news. That coma's over. Bad news.
Right.
Here's a card of a funeral.
Right.
So he, very sad though. He actually dies. He hung on for a long time though.
Fighter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not bad at all here.
Russian.
Yeah, tough
Russian
son of a bitch. Poultry kid. Bagel man. So the doctor Bernard Adams, he will say that because they couldn't do a full examination on him like an autopsy because he was alive. So by the time a month later they get to autopsy him, it's not the same. Some of the wounds have healed. There's been intervention medically, so it's hard to tell what's what and what happened.
Been moved around.
Yeah. This doctor will say later on that the front of Seymour's throat had been cut so deeply that it reached his voice box, and that the back of his neck was cut so deeply that the bone was exposed.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's wild here. So by the time the autopsy came along, he also had a tracheotomy and shit like that, so it would have been hard. They couldn't tell a lot of shit, but that was one thing they could tell. Also, some of the wounds had healed during the coma, obviously. So at trial comes up, and it's a 13-week trial of a teenage kid with his parents, and they're rich. It was a big deal in New York. Oh, yeah, it was a big deal in New York.
That's a long trial.
He's on the cover of Newsday and all that shit. Yeah, he had lawyers here.
3.5 months.
Yeah, they talk about Martin's confession at the trial, obviously. Martin moves to suppress the statements he made to the detectives, saying that he violated his Miranda rights. They violated his Miranda rights here. The trial judge denies the motion, ruling that Martin was not in custody until the very moment the detectives furnished the Miranda warnings. So they're saying to him, the judge says, you could have left anytime you wanted to. You didn't have to stick around there and tell them the story. Why'd you tell him? Jerry testifies, Stewerman. He gets on a nice new rug, too. Yeah. He's got a new rug. He's looking good.
Butthole.
Yeah, he told the police, because, the prosecutor had to say, why'd you run away? Yeah. So the defense can't use him as a boogeyman, saying he ran away because he killed he killed Seymour. Yeah. So Stewerman tells the police that he ran away to escape his personal problems. So he tells the court, he said, quote, "The only mistake I made in my life is that I lived lavishly. I was a poor man living like a millionaire. I did a foolish thing, but I'm no murderer and I shouldn't even be here." That's Seymour's take. That's what he says.
Not it's Stewerman's take.
That's our Stewart. Yeah, Seymour has no take on this whole thing. So the prosecution here talks about the defense's failure to call Sherry, the half sister, to corroborate Martin's version of the telephone call. They bring that up because Martin's lawyer in the beginning said they're going to bring that up as evidence, and then they never did. So the prosecution's like, they said they had this evidence. I didn't fucking see it. Did you see it?
Right.
Didn't see it there. So that doesn't look good either. Now, she did testify at the suppression hearing, saying that Martin said to her in the telephone call that he told the police that he said he did it because they made him and blah, blah, blah. But then at trial, they don't call her. Right. So that's an interesting thing. Now, Martin testifies at trial, and he says that he only confessed because the detectives made him, and that's just about it. So it's basically their word against his. There's no real physical evidence linking anybody except that he's in the house, and it makes the most sense. They're Occam's razoring him hard here. And verdict is, this is, by the way, full week of deliberations. Full week of deliberations. It's very weird here. The jury says Martin not guilty of intentionally murdering his mother.
Yeah.
Okay? So not guilty, but guilty of killing his mother with depraved indifference to human life and intentionally killing his father.
Oh, that's worse.
So he got fucked, basically.
Oh, boy.
Well, instead of like 2 big murder charges, he got 1.5, basically.
That feels worse.
Yeah, depraved indifference to human life is almost manslaughter. It's almost an accident. Whereas intentional murder is the worst.
Really?
Yeah. So
because that second one sounds way worse than intentional murder.
That's like if you're driving around willy-nilly, whipping them back around from the road, and a kid runs out in front of you and you hit him. And you were driving around with depraved indifference to human life. So it's manslaughter. Yeah. It's not, I'm going to go out and hit a kid. It's a different thing.
I don't like it.
I don't know how you would accidentally beat your mother with a barbell and stab her and cut her throat. And that's not an accident. Either you intentionally fucking killed her hard.
You were throwing that knife around willy-nilly.
Yeah, or you didn't. Yeah. So that's a very weird thing, but that's how they do it.
Playing it real fast and loose with that dumbbell.
A little bit there. Now, at sentencing, Martin says, they ask him, do you have anything to say for yourself? He says, quote, I love my parents. I didn't kill them. That's pretty much all he says.
I just wanted a new nose.
Well, I just wanted a new nose in a sports car.
Right.
And the judge says, quote, you, sir, may fuck off 25 to life.
Oh, no.
Times 2.
Oh,
served consecutive.
Oh, no.
50 years to life.
This poor bastard.
50 years. Well, if he killed his parents, it's not really a poor bastard at that point. It would be pretty deserving.
He got the same sentence. For both things.
And
one was a little bit less.
Yeah, but got them both. Boy. So, this is interesting. Now, after this, the weird thing is Stewerman's on the outside, obviously. His businesses flourish.
Oh, yeah.
Because now it's his own business, and the bagel business took off like crazy in the 90s. It was like the biggest thing ever. That's, Jesus Christ, it spread throughout the whole country like that.
Yeah, and if it's anything like today where like you find out there's some sort of GoFundMe for a page and you go and donate like crazy, you know what I mean? You go and patronize this business because, hey, I could be paying for that poor daughter or whatever.
Yeah, well, actually, on this one, though, it's because Jerry actually had some business acumen here. He secured franchise deals to own bagel shops at airports, including Kennedy Airport and rest stops along the New York State Thruway and the Florida and New Jersey turnpikes. So he fucking loaded it up, man.
They had bagels in the rest stops?
Yeah, because there's restaurants at those rest stops, Becky. You know those rest stops we stop at where there's like a bunch of restaurants in a building. We've stopped there 100 times driving with the on tour. What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You go in to use the bathroom.
All right,
you walk in
like
and there's
stops.
Yeah, there's a store and there's a bunch of fucking.
Okay.
Those are big rest stops. So there's like an ice cream place and a fucking Chick-fil-A and a McDonald's and a bunch of shit.
When
in there.
You say rest stop, I think of a place where you can get a blowy.
Yeah, you're thinking like trucker blowjobs. No.
Yeah, like or even worse, like where the gay community goes to hide out because it's.
Why is that worse?
It's not worse. I'm just saying.
I thought you were going to say where you would lure the gay community into the bushes on the promise of sex and murder them. That would be worse.
No,
that's worse.
I'm just saying.
Dudes blowing each other. You can blow each other all you want. Guys, blow yourself all you want. I don't care. Go in behind that bush and blow yourself silly. I'll never stop you.
It's just where gay guys used to go meet each other just for sex.
Yeah.
Just forget drinks and pick up lines and all that bullshit. Easier. Let's just go fuck at a rest stop.
Let's go fuck where I can smell public toilet.
It used to be a thing.
I know. I don't get it.
Thank God for Grindr.
Thank God for a lot of things, because can you imagine that? I don't want to pull into a rest stop and just, I don't want to trip over a couple dudes blowing each other.
I don't want to walk my little girl over to the bathroom and, not this time, baby. Yeah. Maybe we'll wait till the next one.
I want to have a something about Mary situation happen. So, Jerry... So Jerry's doing very fucking well.
Yeah.
And then after a few years, he and his wife moved down to Florida.
Yeah.
Look at that. They're living the dream. Everything's fine. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. So 1993... there's an appeal for Marty, okay? Yeah. This is the panel of the Supreme Court of the state here is sharply divided on this one. It's a 3-2 vote. Mm-hmm. The majority holds that Martin was not entitled to Miranda warnings earlier than he received them, finding he was not in custody before that time, which seems crazy.
Yeah.
The dissenting opinions found that the confession was obtained, obviously, in violation of Miranda, because even assuming that he was not in custody from the moment he first arrived, it must be concluded that once the detective, advised him that his father had identified him as the assailant, he's a suspect at that point, I would say. And they said no reasonable, innocent person would have basically found themselves to be free to leave at that point. He was not free. He knew he wasn't free to leave. Hey, your father just said you tried to kill him and you killed his mom. Well, I'll be going now. You guys, it's almost lunchtime. I got a meeting. We'll talk about this later.
My dad's awake. I got to go see him.
I'm going to take off now. Jesus, he's going to be pissed. Yeah. So I still didn't put that card table up like he asked. Jesus Christ here. So the state, that's the Supreme Court of the state, gets that wrong, I think, in my opinion anyway. That seems a little crazy here. So
Of New York, yeah.
He's appealing this all over the place. Also, there's some undisclosed evidence here, which is interesting. Unbeknownst to the defense counsel, because I don't know if they didn't do their homework or what, Jerry Stuerman has a history of employing violent tactics to resolve business disputes. When Stuerman first started in the bagel business, he hired members of the Hells Angels to attack members of a union who were picketing his store, violently attack them. When the lead detective in the tank lift case here, McCready, was aware of this episode. Oh, this gets so fucking dirty, it's not even funny. Remember that McCready guy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, obviously the government knew about this. Mm-hmm. The detective knew about this, but they didn't disclose to the defense, which is borderline Brady violation. It's not great. So, also the government forensics experts identified mysterious hairs on Arlene Tankliff's body, particularly in her hand. When they found her, the hairs are strange because they're rootless.
Weird.
And they don't match Martin's hair.
Yeah.
How would rootless hairs happen?
It's a lot of breaks.
That's weird. Yeah, awfully breaky. Yeah. Or it came out of a rug.
Yeah.
So, likewise, rootless hair was found on Seymour Tankliff's person that was inconsistent with Martin's hair.
That's a bad rug.
That's a bad fucking rug.
Falling apart, man.
That's why I got to get a new one. Yeah. Meanwhile, by the way, the prosecution is aware of this, and they do not disclose this to the defense.
Of course not.
Of course not. That is, by the way, District Attorney Thomas J. Spada prosecuted this case, and we'll talk about that.
Guy.
That's the Koch guy's defense lawyer's partner.
Yeah.
So, that's Stuerman's son's defense lawyer's partner. So this is all getting very creepy. Whoa, there's more.
Yeah.
There's fucking more. Oh, yeah. Wow, this is fucking crazy. And the police didn't take a sample of Stuerman's hair, and he got a new rug. So that's goddamn gone there. And by the time he came back, he had his hair, replaced. They said serviced and replaced, which I'm like, what is it, a muffler? So, wow. Stuerman obviously had plenty of motive for killing them, since he owed him fucking $500,000. And it seemed reasonable to at least check him out a little bit. And basically, though, they said the forensics testing also repeatedly failed to corroborate Martin's confession.
Right.
Basically, which was based on what the detective suggested. They said that, once the confession happened, that's the end of the story.
Right.
There was missing gloves, basically, that they said, and they found out that the gloves, there's a guy named Glenn Harris, and he says that he is Jesus Christ, that one of two men that he knows actually killed the Tankliffs. He comes forward. A guy named Joe Creedon said that he carried the gloves back to the getaway car after the murders.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, there's a whole new fucking pile of worms here with our can of worms. So also the defense, there's a lot more evidence here. All the knives in the kitchen and those found elsewhere in the house and the dumbbells in Martin's room were disassembled and tested for the presence of even the most minute quantity of human anything, tissue, hair, anything. No 17-year-old who's doing this shit quickly is cleaning them that well. No. They took the barbells apart and did it.
Wow.
Each tested negative. Martin confessed to using a dumbbell, but the physician who treated Seymour upon his arrival at the hospital testified that he believed the wounds were more likely inflicted by a hammer, which is a much different attack than a barbell.
Right.
So, the forensic pathologist who testified at trial also said that the wounds were consistent with being inflicted by a hammer. He said that at trial, no hammer with any traces of blood were found anywhere on the grounds of the Tankliff residence. Mm-hmm. So Martin's shower was searched exhaustively for blood, human tissue, or hairs or fibers or anything belonging to his parents, including removing and analyzing the trap from the shower drain.
Gross.
Everything tested negative.
Wow.
For nothing got in there. The towels in the bathroom exhibited no signs of blood. No drops of blood were found on the floor between the parents' bedroom and the study or Martin's room.
Yeah.
None of those paths. There's no fucking blood anywhere.
All that police work would have corroborated what the fuck?
This is insane. No blood identified as belonging to Martin was found in either room where the bodies were located, despite forensics testimony that Arlene put up a significant struggle against her attacker. Likewise, no hair or fiber evidence from Martin was found in either room.
What the shit?
He's either the best hitman ever.
Unbelievable.
In and out like a ghost.
So good.
Wow.
Just a weak constitution and can't hold a secret.
That's the thing. Can't tell a secret, but he can strip down and murder you. No fucking problem. Like a stone cold hitman.
He has got some remorse, but boy, oh boy, is he good at it.
I read this mafia book written by this fucking mob dude who was talking about this one guy that he knew who, after he killed somebody, he would just take him to this apartment that he had, fucking strip down, naked, and get in the bathtub and chop him up.
Boy,
that was the routine.
What
boy.
A scene.
He did it a million times. Gross. That was his thing that he would do. Well, get him in here, okay? And he was telling him this is where you got to do it, and blah blah blah. Like he was at the grocery store going, you want the strip or the sirloin?
Yeah.
Like that's what he was doing.
They say you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, you can either do that or you can't.
Sure don't.
I'm not a person who can dismember a human.
Not that far.
I can't do that shit.
I think in the right circumstance, based on self-defense, I could probably hurt somebody.
I don't need to part them out afterwards, so I wouldn't be able to do that.
I'd like to call somebody and tell them to dispatch of this.
Can you pick this up, please?
Hey, officer, I did this in self-defense. When you do police work, you'll find out.
No shit, man. So Martin also was the nose surgery. His nose would bleed from time to time, and there was no evidence of a struggle on Martin from that. His blood didn't drip anywhere. Scrapings of his fingernails produced no evidence of a struggle. Scrapings of Arlene's fingernails produced no evidence of Martin's skin.
Oh?
Unidentified, but not Martin. Contrary also to Martin's confession that he murdered his mom and then murdered his dad, Seymour's blood was found in the master bedroom where Arlene's body was found, thereby indicating probably Seymour was killed first and then Arlene. That's how that went. A blood stain on the fitted sheets was consistent with Seymour's blood and inconsistent with Arlene's or Martin's blood, and a blood stain found on the wall of the master bedroom. That's unidentified. That is, a bloody glove print was found in the parents' bedroom by the light switch there, where they said they didn't find any gloves, but there's a bloody glove print. Right. So somebody must have had gloves. And by the way, Martin never mentioned any gloves in his statement to the detectives in his confession.
Matter of fact, he had no clothes.
No clothes, nothing, totally, not even socks, as we figured out here. Now, and because they got this confession out of him 5 hours after the murders, they never even looked at another person. Yeah. They never looked at the evidence. They just said, we got our guy, done and done. That's it. So Stewerman obviously at the time was a potential suspect when the whole thing went down, but police ignored him because they said that Martin told them that he left at 3:00 in the morning. Right. So it must have been Martin that did it. That was that. And also another guy there, Joseph Cesare, a poker player, he said that when he left, the police knew this, Stewerman, who was there, he said as he was leaving, Stewerman was engaged in a serious private conversation with Seymour, and even said he waved him to go ahead of him, even though Stewerman's car was parked behind his. Mm-hmm. He said he had to finish, so figure out how to get around me, basically. Wow. So that's how it worked. Now, more evidence here. Jesus Christ. Evidence at trial suggests that the assaults happened about 3:00 a.m., not at 6 in the morning, 3 a.m. Ethel Curley, who's the emergency technician who responded, was the first medical personnel there to examine Arlene, testified the blood on Arlene's head and forearm and on her nightgown was dry already.
Far too dry.
Far too dry. Yeah. Likewise, a technician assisting Seymour described a large golf ball-sized clump of blood, like it clotted up already because he was still alive, falling out of Seymour's body.
Jesus.
That was so coagulated it made a noise when it hit the ground.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of time to coagulate.
That's
exactly.
Super dry.
Yeah, that probably kept him from bleeding to death too.
Probably.
The dried blood on both bodies pointed to a time of death inconsistent with Martin's confession that he did it after 6 a.m. Now, introduce another one here. Carlene Kovacs. Let's talk about her. She is a witness here. She came forward in the 90s. She informed Robert Gottlieb, who's Martin Tankliff's trial counsel, that she had some information. She told Gottlieb that she and her friend John Guarasio went to the home of John Guarasio's sister, Teresa, for dinner. Okay, go to her house for dinner. Now, Teresa's boyfriend is a guy named Joseph Creedon.
Yeah.
He came up earlier, right. His name. He's an associate of Todd Stewerman, Jerry's coke-dealing son.
Oh, the little asshole.
Yeah, he was there for dinner as well. Now, while Teresa was preparing dinner, Creedon and Kovacs were talking about the Tankliff murders, and basically this is the statement they got. Quote, after the Tankliff murders on a subsequent Easter Sunday, she describes it, he and I went to his sister Terry's house in Medford or Farmingville. Terry was married to Joe Creedon. John warned me about Joe, telling him he was deeply involved in drugs and a troublemaker.
This we're spending Easter with?
Fun, right?
Jesus.
Hey, come on. While at the house, we went into the bedroom and smoked a joint. While there, Joe Creedon, told me in essence he was involved in the Tankliff murders in some way. I recall him saying something about hiding behind trees and bushes at the Tankliff house during the time of the murders and saying he was with Stewerman. A Stewerman.
That is some good weed.
It's fucking good. Damn.
How many times have you and I confessed to
multiple murders?
To fucking strangers.
Let me tell you something. Well, you know what? It's Easter. I'm feeling like I need to unburden myself.
Cleanse my soul.
Cleanse my soul here. I'm rising from the dead.
Jesus.
After the murders, he described how he had to make a quick dash to avoid being caught. He said it was dark outside at the time and described how his adrenaline was flowing and that he was afraid of getting caught and all that. So Creedon told Kovacs that all about this, hiding in the bushes and all this sort of shit. Now, she signed an affidavit and everything. So there was no investigation, by the way.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We follow up on that. Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely not.
Weed.
Now, this also, the only thing they did find is in 1990, Creedon signed an affidavit indicating that Todd Stewerman told him that Jerry, Todd's father, wanted to hire Creedon to, quote, cut out Marty Tankliff's tongue because Marty was still blaming Jerry for his parents' murders.
What?
How dare he sit in prison and blame fucking you for the murders? So they were going to go find a way to get to jail to cut his tongue out.
Holy shit.
Creedon turned down this assignment, and after he turned down his assignment, Todd Stewerman shot him in the arm. Because he was mad at him for that, apparently. Then they offered Creedon $10,000 to refuse to testify against Todd about the shooting of him.
I've shot you to
Jesus
discourage
Christ.
you, and now here's $10,000 to further discourage you.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy shit. So it's wild. So in light of all this, the fact Creedon admits that he was involved in the Tankliff murders to people, so they do a lie detector test to try to do this. The Tankliff investigator arranged for Carleen Kovacs, Glenn Harris, Martin Tankliff, all to be polygraphed, basically, which you could picture this like The Wire, with the separate rooms and the true lying motherfucker, that whole thing here.
Xerox machine, yes?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So this consisted of 3 questions. First, did Joe Creedon tell you he and a Stewerman were hiding in the bushes on the Tankliff property at the night of the murders? This is to Kovacs. Second, did Joe Creedon tell you they were full of blood and had to get rid of their clothes the night of the murders? And third, did Joe Creedon tell you he was scared and his adrenaline was flowing? And Kovacs answered yes to all of them, and they was all truthful responses. Yeah. So she was telling the truth. And so this opens a whole big deal. Glenn Harris passes a polygraph proving that he drove Creedon and another individual to the Tankliff residence the night of the murders. Wow. So he passes that as well. Finally, Marty passes a polygraph verifying that he had no involvement in his parents' murders. So 3 polygraphs, all saying that Martin had shit to do with this.
All kinds of information.
There's
so much evidence.
Fucking ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's more.
Oh my God.
There is more. This is fucking ridiculous. This is Guaracio, the one guy from the house. He also gave an affidavit saying that I went with my girlfriend Carleen Kovacs. After a few minutes, Joe took a rifle out of his closet and started talking to us. This is the joint smoking session.
Oh boy.
I heard him say they were hanging out smoking in the bushes watching guys play cards. I did not know what Joe was talking about, but that was the murders there. So, more, 2003, this is 15 fucking years later, Robert Trotta, who's a Suffolk County detective, said that Creedon was known as Joey Guns because Creedon has a history of using firearms to rob drug dealers. they're finding some background there. Now, Creedon said his violent acts were limited only to drug involvement. Right. I don't do this on the street. Yeah. This is crazy.
Keep the people out of this.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So he points out, this man, in a bunch of affidavits, that they had done a bunch of shit together, him and Joe Creedon, where Creedon carries rifles and guns and robs people and everything like that. This guy also said that he refers to the Tankliff murders and said basically that it was a shame about the kid, meaning Marty Tankliff. He said that, quote, that this was Creedon said to him, quote, "That kid didn't do it. I was there." And that's what he told him. And he said when he was high on crack. This is what Creedon told him.
Boy, oh boy.
Creedon got high on crack, and if he smokes weed, crack,
put any drugs inside this guy, and it's just truth serum.
Absolutely. No shit. So, it gets worse, by the way. Okay. It gets more, because this is just like kind of mistakes and stupid. Then it gets more on purpose after a while here. No. So, basically, all the drug dealers who would get arrested in the 90s, they'd get arrested, and to try to get a better position, they would go, "I know who killed that Tankliff family." It was actually Joe Creedon. Yeah. So like 10 different drug dealers all tried to tell the cops that Joe Creedon had told them that he killed these people to try to get out of trouble, and they just ignored them, basically. They just fucking ignored them. Dude, I mean... It's so fucking much. So then Martin's investigator comes into this whole thing, okay, which he gets his own guy, a guy named J. Sal Peter.
Hell yeah.
He's an investigator working for the Tankliffs to pursue information. He pursues the Carlene Kovacs lead. Mm-hmm. He learns from public arrest records that after he'd been shot by Todd Stewerman, Creedon attempted to burglarize a bagel store with Glenn Harris, which was one of Jerry and Seymour's businesses.
Yeah.
So they find that out. That's one thing. Glenn Harris was incarcerated on something else, and the Tankliff investigator got to interview Harris in jail. Harris told him that at some point prior to burglarizing the bagel shop, he drove Creedon and Peter home, to Peter Kent, to a home in Belle Terre, and watched them go in the back of the house, and that whole thing, basically. He waited in the car. They came out. It took between 10 and 30 minutes. They came running to the car, were nervous, and demanded that he drive off right away. Creedon was carrying gloves in his jacket pocket, and it goes through the whole thing. He said that he observed one of the men burning his jeans and sweatshirt and began to suspect that something more serious than a robbery had occurred there. And then he heard on the car radio reports of the Tankliff murder in Belle Terre and knew that he was the unwitting getaway driver here. Now, Jesus Christ, man. Glenn Harris, he'll admit all of this shit, and he'll admit it in an affidavit now that he did this. So that's a lot.
That's enough.
Yeah, a guy's admitting that he says that by the way, the detective then took Glenn Harris to the neighborhood where he was able to pick out the Tankliff house. He knew where it was, so he wasn't lying. Knew where it was, told him where they stopped the car. Also said that's where we threw the pipe away. The pipe, like a hammer where you hit somebody with. They had a pipe, and they disposed of it. He goes, "We threw it right over there." So they went and they dug. Sure enough, little bit, a rusted, weathered 36-inch long metal pipe. Still
15 years old.
Still fucking there.
Wow.
Still fucking there. Just under a little bit of dirt.
Holy shit.
They never even looked for it. Never. They got their man. Why look? So it's fucking... I don't even know. It's goddamn insane, basically. Creedon backs him up. His statements to everyone else back it up. He doesn't actually tell the police that shit. So, wow, it gets crazier. It gets so much crazier, Jimmy. I don't even want to. Okay. So basically, they go to court here. 2002, 2003. There's new fact witnesses. Obviously, the Creedon thing, the Kovacs, the Glenn Harris. There's so much going on. There's polygraphs that aren't admissible, but you know kind of what's happened. There's so many people saying the same exact things, but they can't bring in the polygraph, actually, obviously. But they do. You can, in post-conviction proceedings, there is admissibility of some polygraph results, which is a weird thing here. And Glenn Harris testifies that he drove Creedon and Peter Kent, the whole thing we just said. And also, a large number of relatives of the victims have provided all these testimony that Martin wasn't mistreated. He never said he was mistreated. Okay, now, here's where it gets bad, the corrupt part. In the early 80s, remember Todd Stewerman pled guilty to selling cocaine out of his dad's bagel store here?
Spada.
Yeah. According to confidential defense witnesses, the cops never busted him because they were paid off not to interfere in his operation, because that's what you do back then. Now, the Detective McCready, our lead homicide detective here, he testified at Marty's trial that he never knew Jerry Stewerman at all. I don't know this fucking guy at all. That's it. He then in 2004, a baking supplier's wholesaler, who's at the bakery, at the bagel shop all the time, he comes forward and testifies that he is 100% certain that every single time he went to Jerry Stewerman's bagel shop, Detective McCready was sitting right fucking there with him, hanging out. This was in the late 70s and early 80s, this went back to. So McCready was essentially the fucking muscle to keep the fucking coke from getting stolen, basically. That's what they would do. They'd have their goddamn cop there. So yeah, that's allegedly. So that's what that is. So not only did Detective McCready know Jerry Stewerman, he knew him very fucking well. He sat next to him the whole time this all happened. So, by the way, the lawyer who got Stewerman's son a good deal on a plea was the law partner of Thomas J. Spada, who is the district attorney of Suffolk County.
You son of a bitch.
At this point in time, he went from that to that. Now let's talk about some experts here. Professor Richard A. Leo. He's an interrogation expert and a false confession expert. He's qualified as an expert 69 times and testified in all these trials in 16 different states. He basically, they got him and other ones saying it's a false confession. Martin was led down the road to this confession. After familiarizing himself, he said that based on my opinion, that Mr. Tankliff's admission, talking about Martin, and post-admission narrative of the crime were involuntarily made and not based upon Mr. Tankliff's personal knowledge of the crime. It's a Brendan Dassey situation. I think Marty just wanted to watch WrestleMania, and he would have been fucking done here.
On a boat.
On a boat,
with hose and everything.
On a boat with hose. So, not to mention, in 1989, following years of public criticism of misconduct by members of the Suffolk County Police Department, the New York State Commission on Investigation conducted an extensive investigation of them, and the commission's report here found that the Suffolk County Police Department engaged in and permitted improper practices in 94% of Suffolk County homicide prosecutions. 94% of homicide prosecutions involved confessions or oral admissions.
Wow.
That seems a little
high.
Seems a little high. So they're going to investigate that.
You mean to tell me in 94% of their investigations they had to do, zero investigation?
None. They just guy admitted it. Wow. Case closed. Super easy. We didn't even have to run fucking tests. The commission concluded, quote, that was, quote, an astonishingly high figure compared to other jurisdictions. So high, in fact, that in and of itself, it provokes skepticism regarding Suffolk County's use of confessions and oral admissions.
You'd think that they'd be on a tour around speaking to other police officers, telling them how to do that shit.
You would imagine.
And making a boatload of cash.
Oh, by the way, Detective McCready was also cited by the New York State Commission of Investigation for having given false perjurious testimony in a 1987 Suffolk County murder trial in which he was the lead investigator.
What a cocksucker.
This is getting bad. The expert witnesses were also, there's all these expert witnesses, like we said, and everything like that. Plus the lack of Miranda, plus trial counsel incompetence by saying they would do things they didn't do. The trial counsel laid out this whole big thing that they were going to do and then never did any of it. Like, we're going to call his sister, that'll tell you that. And then when they don't call the sister, the prosecution goes, gee, that was a large missing piece of evidence that I guess they don't want you to hear about, and it makes you look worse. So it's awful. He failed to investigate, they said. The trial counsel failed to investigate and develop such evidence through family members. The witnesses would not only have contradicted the people's claim that Martin had a motive to kill his parents, but also would have provided the jury with other information. there's so much here. The motives were horseshit, but they look good on a confession. That's the thing here. The defendant, basically, is what the prosecutor argued. The defendant in defense, in opening statement, promised you to deliver you certain things, and they have not done that yet. And they talk about all the list of things that they said in the opening that they didn't do, basically. So they talk about where was that aunt that said that she was going to say what a great kid you were, and where are these people, and where are those people? So the prosecutor cited the sister. Also, they say that Martin was obviously inappropriately interrogated, coerced into making an untrue confession, and incarcerated wrongly for, his young life here.
Right.
So the judge says, you, sir, may conviction vacated. May go home.
Yeah.
Look at that shit. Martin gets to go home in 2008.
Oh, my God. How long is that?
That is about 20 years.
Oh, he was almost done with one of those.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He had 30 years left there.
That is too long.
So 2008, the state decides whether they want to retry him or not. They have to. But Attorney General at the time, Cuomo, who's now governor, moves to dismiss all charges on June 30th, 2008. His office announced it would not retry Marty, citing insufficient or no evidence to prove his guilt.
Right.
July 22nd, 2008, all charges formally dismissed against Marty.
Party time indeed.
Party for Marty. The Attorney General's office representatives filed a motion to drop the original indictments. He said, Marty, quote, it's 20 years overdue. I'm just looking forward to getting on with my life. He said he's going to go to Hofstra University, where he wants to become a defense attorney, where he says he wants to stop things like this from happening again. He gets to go home, though. Asking about a civil suit. You going to sue? He said, quote, this isn't over for us.
My man.
I would say. And then they asked his lawyer about it, and his lawyer said that Mr. Tankleff, quote, certainly deserves compensation for 17 years of wrongful imprisonment.
Oh, my.
I would say so. He says that the weirdest thing was going to supermarkets afterwards. He said he would stare at the food for an hour. He didn't know what to do.
Of course not. This isn't honey buns and ramen noodles.
He said in prison you could choose from 3 cereals. Right. Now you had an entire aisle in front of you.
Oh, my God, this is amazing.
There's Fruit Loops? When did Apple Jacks put green ones in it? What the fuck is happening?
There are marshmallows and Fruity Pebbles.
Jesus Christ, it's a dream come true. There's chocolate Lucky Charms? What amazing times we live in.
Peanut butter Pops.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God, this is crazy.
So good. Jesus
When I was
Christ.
17, I would have loved this.
He said it created a sensory overload that was difficult to handle. 2009 files a lawsuit against both the county and the state. In the lawsuit, the lawyers allege, quote, a widespread practice of coercing confessions among the homicide detectives of the Suffolk County Police Department, and argued that his imprisonment was a direct result of gross misconduct by Suffolk County law enforcement. I would say so. By the way, 2010, Joseph Creedon, remember that guy? He was arrested for firing a shotgun outside of his home by Suffolk police. He's arrested at 10:45 p.m., charged with criminal possession of a weapon, prohibited use of a weapon, and he's like on parole and shit, so
firing shotguns.
He's going to go away for a while in his front yard while he's wanted by police.
Dipshit.
Well, his name is Joey Guns. Yeah. So what do you want?
Good point.
He goes, I'm Joey Guns. This is what I do. What are you talking about? They show up. He's like, what? I pictured him like Reno 911, the guy with the arrow and it's stuck in his fucking head like that. Like,
you don't know what I do?
I'm Joey Guns, y'all. I'm Joey Guns. What are y'all expecting?
I'm not Joey Gunn, by the way.
Yeah, I got more.
This one, there's more.
Got plenty. You want to use it? You could use it. It's fine. So Marty goes to law school. Yeah. And he meets a young woman named Lori there.
Very nice.
He meets them while he's doing lectures on being falsely, put in fucking prison. Sure. And they end up hooking up and getting married.
Hell yeah.
So now he has a wife, and she's a former single mom. Well, at the time when he met her, she was a single mom who escaped an abusive relationship, and says her quote is that she's overwhelmed by Marty's grace and humility when they first met. She said, I would have never thought I would be married again, but he was just an amazing human being. Yeah. His goals, his determination, his values were everything that I wanted.
That shit's going to last forever.
Yeah.
If any of them have a chance, that's it.
Plus, she was diagnosed with an incurable nerve condition while they were dating, and he immediately proposed to her when he found out. So he didn't care. And also, her daughter apparently has had struggles to trust male figures after difficulties with her father, and I guess now she's doing great. And Martin ends up officially adopting her in 2014.
He's a fucking hero
as well. And so it's a little bit crazy here, though. He says that he does regret that he never got his day in court with Creedon, because he knows that Creedon is probably the trigger guy. He ends up graduating from Toro Law School in 2014 in May. I have no idea, somewhere in New York. Meanwhile, by the way, Thomas J. Spada, the DA who opposed his release from prison, by the way, he fought that shit tooth and nail. And we know his history, is now at 2014 facing prison on corruption charges.
Good.
Shocking. Not from this, though. They asked Marty if Spada's reversal of fortune was satisfying to him. And he said, quote, "No comment," which means, fuck yeah, I'm going to jerk off to that shit later.
Fuck yeah.
I'm jerking it to his perp walk. I swear to God, I'm going to get all set in front of the TV and just be like, "Come on, baby."
Wife, stepdaughter, please do not come in here. I don't want to further scar you.
Out.
Yeah.
Perp walk's
You are
coming.
not going to like what I'm about to do.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. He said, "I'm focused on other things. All I know is that as an exoneree, I'm in the most honorable group of people nobody wants to be in." Which is really true and funny.
Oh, Jesus. What a statement.
That's a crazy statement.
Oh, boy.
True. 2015, he says he's thinking about running for Congress. He says, I'm definitely looking at it right now. He says it would be a Democratic or independent, but most likely an independent. That way my allegiance is to the people, not to a political party. He says that he thinks that his unique background could help people who are victimized by the criminal justice system. He says, think about the impact I could have on the criminal justice system being in Congress, which is fair.
I'm thinking about it, buddy.
Yeah, he could be a witness to all this. Then the state settles the lawsuit. The state agrees. He's got state and county lawsuit, by the way. The state agrees to pay him $3.4 million. And
that's low.
And that's the state, though, because it's more on the county. We'll talk about that.
Near enough.
No. He says that, he's looking forward to the county thing, to the county lawsuit. He said, this is what we want to do here. He said he wants to find his parents' murderer. That would be nice. April of 2017, he passes the New York State bar exam. Look at Marty.
Buckle up, fuckers.
He's a fucking lawyer now. Look at that.
You tell him I'm coming.
I'm coming for you, motherfucker.
Hell's coming with me.
Hell's coming with me. April 20th, 2018, lawsuit with Suffolk County is settled. They reach a $10 million settlement. There you go. Here,
now we're talking.
That's what I'm talking about. So he is now, that's about $13.4 million he won out of this, and I don't even think that's enough.
No.
It's crazy.
20 years of his life and his
17. You got to give people at least $1 million a year for incarceration. I'm sorry. That's fucked up.
That's
Anybody
terrible.
who's wrongfully incarcerated deserves $1 million a year.
Absolutely.
That they're in there. That's bullshit. Also here,
and that ought to be a deterrent enough for you to fucking do some real police work.
That would be nice.
If it's going to cost us this much money, I'm a taxpayer. Your fucking shoddy ass shit work is going to cost me the money.
That was the problem.
Fucking be enough to keep your fucking job.
That's what I never understood about in this county. We're in Maricopa County in Arizona, where Phoenix is. We had Sheriff fucking Joe Arpaio forever. Right. Even if you didn't think his tactics were fucking asinine, illegal, and barbaric, you think you'd just go, "I'm tired of us paying for $100 million fucking lawsuits because you let people die in jail without medical fucking care and round up Mexicans every time you feel like it. What the fuck are you doing? Stop."
Unbelievable.
The county pays for that.
Right.
Jesus fucking Christ. Our schools suck a dick, and we're paying $100 million because you're a fucking idiot who can't do your job right? Because you want to sell fucking pink boxer shorts and make a few bucks on the side? You fucking fat twat. Jesus Christ. We had that for years.
Meanwhile, my state taxes aren't even that much money. You know what I mean? Because Arizona's so goddamn cheap with it. But how many fucking people's taxes you got to put together each year to pay stupid goddamn
fucking
lawsuit
lawsuits for that. And meanwhile, he wasn't investigating pedophiles. Right. It was not or even looked at fucking sex offenses on there. But
paying deputies double time to sit in front of his house because he's got bomb threats because he's a cunt.
Again, not political, but if you like Joe Arpaio, go fuck yourself.
Truly,
I don't care.
I don't want you to listen.
We
to
don't
this
need
anyway.
you. We don't.
A fucking asshole.
If you're not from here and you don't know that much, and you just thought, oh, he seemed like a tough, fun guy.
No,
look him up. Right. Find out what an asshole he is. If you lived here ever and know about him and still like him, go fuck yourself because you're an idiot. You're either 90 or a fucking moron. One of the two.
And either
but
way,
you're definitely racist, so fuck you. That's one thing.
And either way, he lost 2 elections, and we've had enough of his shit.
Enough of his shit. So anyway, he's there. He's teaching a class at Georgetown University for a while. One class he's teaching is called Making an Exoneree, where these students re-examine cases of imprisoned men. It's basically like his own little innocence project he's trying to start. Which
making a murderer.
Mixing it in with. So good job for him there. And he teaches a class there. He's on LinkedIn. He's as a quote adjunct professor at Touro College and Law Center in Georgetown University here.
Good for him.
And he's doing very well.
I love it.
He has a nice car and a nice wife.
Yeah.
There he is on he's got a check mark. Yeah. By the way, let's find out Metcalf and Metcalf he works for.
Okay.
And his Twitter handle, you want to tell him, Jimmy, what his Twitter handle is there?
You can't
see it. It is at XONER 8 ED. Exonerated, which is pretty cool.
He picked it up, man. I like it. That's like some exhibit shit.
By the way, same license plates. Exonerated license plates he's got.
Hell yeah.
He said he's doing it.
How does he work for a company called Metcalf? Why isn't that shit just called, I don't know, Marty's Party?
Marty Law. Marty Law. Woo! That's what it should be.
Fuck, man. Marty's not a party to crime.
No.
He's a fucking hero.
Oh, it gets better, by the way. He says, for me, it's about moving on in life. The more successes I have, the more I set an example for other exonerees. My wife told me once, you're exonerated. Be proud of it. Be honored. Show the world. So he did by putting it on his car.
Blowjobs.
Yeah, it's going to go great.
You're a hero. I love you.
November of 2019, Thomas J. Spada goes on trial.
Okay.
On trial. This whole trial started with this is how it started. A duffel bag full of sex toys, cigars, and porn. That's how the case started. Okay?
That's a hell of a weekend.
Yeah. The bag belonged to James Burke, who was the police chief in Suffolk County. Okay? It was stolen from his parked car in December 2012.
That's all he takes on vacation?
That's it. Sex toys, cigars, and porn. Boom. Done. I mean,
I hate this job.
His night is mapped out. Let's be honest. His night is, he has to stop at the liquor store on the way home, but otherwise he's set for the night, obviously, clearly.
That is a great little care package.
So it's stolen from his car. Later on.
Fuck.
They stole my dildos.
Can you imagine being the guy that opens it?
I can get more cigars, but that dildo was perfect.
They were used.
It was right in my ass. It fit wonderfully.
The poor bastard that opens that going, money. No.
Shit. What is this, guns? It's in the police station parking lot.
This smells funny.
So later on, they arrest a heroin addict for heroin, and he has in his possession that duffel bag with the sex toys.
Oh, no.
So Burke finds out about this guy getting arrested and having his shit. So this Chief Burke walks into the station house to confront this man who's handcuffed to the floor of the interrogation room. And they said for a few minutes, he beat the living shit out of this guy, threatened to kill him, the whole thing, until finally another cop came in the room and said, boss, that's enough.
Over dildos.
Fucking ridiculous.
Wow.
So this prompted a federal investigation that lasts more than 4 years and led to the resignation of that police chief, but also Thomas J. Spada, who covered it up actively.
Oh, shit.
Spada goes on trial along with his top deputies here. They said they were pressuring potential witnesses not to cooperate with the federal investigation into the assaults and other assaults. The assistant United States attorney in the Eastern District of New York says, quote, they thought they were above the law, but they were wrong, and here we are today because no one is above the law.
Also because somebody stole dildos.
Also because there was an amazing dildo theft. It's amazing how things happen. So December 17th, 2019, a jury finds Thomas J. Spada and Christopher McPartland, the ex-chief of the DA's anti-corruption unit, guilty on charges of obstruction, witness tampering, and conspiracy following a 6-week trial there. That is fucking amazing.
Your career's over, fuckface.
Oh, yeah. This was a guy, the guy who stole it, who stole the bag, was supporting a $100 a day heroin habit. His name's Christopher Loeb, and he stole stole it out of a police-issued SUV.
Awesome.
Is what he stole it there.
On a heroin addict.
Dude, I'll steal it right out of the car. He probably thought it was weapons that he could sell pretty easily. So, yeah, following the verdict, Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone, who called for Spada to resign, said in a statement that Spada, quote, took part in, quote, covert spying, threats against perceived enemies, relentless intimidation tactics, and outright fear. At the time I called for his resignation, Tom Spada's power was at its peak, and their criminal enterprise was in full spring. This culture of corruption had a real and profound impact. They ruined lives and destroyed careers. Spada here, he is still waiting to be sentenced. They both face up to 20 years in prison.
Wow.
When they return there. And, by the way, that happened in 2019, that happened. He was convicted on December 17th. And then a few days later, December 22nd, Hanukkah started. Happy Hanukkah, Marty. Good for you. Have a fucking Nagila. Look at that shit. And that's the end of the story. Holy
Nobody's
shit.
ever arrested for no justice.
No real criminal went to jail for the murder of the tank lift. So the tank lifts go
justified.
I guess vengeance was not taken.
Yeah.
Their death was not avenged.
No.
But Creedon's that guy might as well be always in prison anyway. Yeah, and it did take down a dirty prosecutor and everything else. But I'm sure Martin would have rather either his parents live or he not being arrested for it. One of the two. Yeah. I'm sure it would have been great for him.
This is what happens when you're not just open with your kinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it. If he brought it in the station with him just to, hey, check out this new porn I got. Yeah. This dildo's it weighs like 12 pounds. It's a fucking mean one. None of this
you really got to push your weight down on it to get it in there.
I don't know. Lock your doors maybe too.
Yeah,
That's
helps.
A fucking start there. That's something. But that is our show, everyone. That is Belle Terre, New York. And that is one of the craziest stories we've ever done. And live, there was so many pictures in there that was a great live show.
That's a great story.
If you saw the live show, you were lucky because that was
a roller coaster.
It's a wild one, man. You don't know. You never know what the real truth is until kind of the end when it clarifies and crystallizes. But
I really got to stop drinking.
You didn't remember anything. If you like that story, you can tell us about it and tell the world about it. As a matter of fact, get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. You can say you're following instructions, following directions. It really doesn't matter, but give us 5 stars there. And Stitcher, I think you can do it too. I don't know if you can rate on Spotify, but I know a lot of people listen there. So if you can, do it. If not, helps us on the business end a lot. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com where you can get everything crime and sports and small town murder related. Tons of stuff. There's all sorts of merch up there and shit like that. I don't know. Buy something or what, and don't buy it. I don't care either way. But you can if you want. Either way, there's tickets to live shows that we don't know if they're ever going to happen. So you can buy those. And eventually they'll happen.
They've got to.
And when they do, you'll have a ticket for
Let's
it.
Wait for the second wave.
What the shit, right? Yeah. Eventually it'll happen. So get on with that and come see us there.
Yeah.
You should listen to Crime and Sports if you are not listening to Crime and Sports, by the way.
Fun there.
We are. And it's been crazier every single week. So just pick an episode, listen to it.
Run with Corey Dillon.
It's a crazy episode. The one we did this week. It's wild.
There's no reason that his career should have happened. And
wall-to-wall crime, very little sports. If you just want to hear a crazy-ass story about a man chasing people around the streets with a stick, and maybe the oddest DUI arrest in the history of DUI arrests.
Or any arrest.
Of any arrest. It's one of the strangest arrests ever.
What the fuck?
Just punching women for no... He punched the driver of a car while he's in the... You don't punch the driver.
No.
Hard enough to bloody this person's mouth to where... What if... It's never mind. It's crazy. Listen to that shit. That's how crazy that was. Listen to PSA to Hate This Movie every Friday, where we talk about bad romantic comedies and how much we fucking hate them. And if you like me ranting, you get an awful lot of it on that one, because I am hot to trot for that shit. So
that's a great movie.
It's that Bobcat.
Yeah,
I loved it when I was a kid.
John Candy as a horse.
Well, John Candy as anything is great.
What a movie!
Fucking magic. Where's John Candy when we need him?
And that movie, on the surface, should have been a piece of shit.
Well, I mean, it is a piece of shit, but it's John Candy, so it's awesome. And Bobcat Goldthwait.
The two of them together made it amazing. Dabney Coleman.
I mean, it is a talking horse, and, but it's still great.
On the cover, dude.
I can't believe that got
garbage.
made.
I know.
That got made by
ridiculous.
a studio. That is fucking wild.
Millions of dollars behind that.
Millions of dollars. I don't know, man. So do all that. Follow us on social media. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Yeah. You can do all of that. And if you want to be a hero of ours, one of our producers who we're going to gush about here at the end of the show, and get access to all of our great bonus material that, honestly, it's a lot of fun. No bonus this week because we have a lot of shit going on in our personal lives with some family stuff that we need to do. There's some illnesses and things that we need to take care of.
Life-threatening things happening.
People are in hospitals and shit.
Apart.
So
there's so much happening. We're working so hard to get this done.
This episode barely happened, so the bonus we cannot do this week, but we promise you next week there will be bonus Crime and Sports and bonus Small Town Murder, and we've done one every other week, so you get plenty. Don't worry about it. Jesus Christ.
We'll give you more, don't worry.
And this story was about 5 stories worth of story in one, so you're fine. God damn it. You got it all. For now, you're all right. Go back and do something else. So check that out. That's patreon.com/crime and sports, or you can just go to PayPal if you want to be a nice person and get some good karma and donate there. That's crimeandsports@gmail.com is the email address to donate under there.
Right.
And Jimmy, with all the bad news and all the crazy shit going on in the world, you know what's not bad and crazy are the most amazing fucking people in the world. People who I would love to see exonerated if anything ever happened to them. Hit me with that list right goddamn now.
This week's executive producers are Stephen Rude, Tracy Mitchell, Jordan Bennett, Ryan McCluskey, Melissa Turner, Clay Thorson, and his pups Odin and Loki. They're his pug. He had to put his dog down last year. He got 2 new pups. And it's their birthday also.
Hey,
so thanks, Clay.
Birthday.
Appreciate it.
There's a lot going on there.
It really is. Clay's got a deep well of emotion happening. Christine Palmer, Nash Esseman, Amanda. What did I do? Shit. Is that Lewis or Laws or Lands? Oh my God, I'm the worst. I'm sorry, Amanda. MJ, Christy Hovaninen? Probably not. Eileen Ocachella? What? Chris Valdez, Riddell Turner, Joshua Neal Clements, Maria Cephas, Rob Beer, Eileen with no last name, Lori Shandor, Ali Manlove, Tinas Yo, I think, or there was a bunch of E's. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right. Casey, what did I do? KB Martin? I think it's Casey. Casey Martin, that's what that is.
What have I done?
Dan Burnite, Chris DeYoung, Carolyn Kriglow. No, Lauren Kyle, Jackamus, talk, what is it? Jackamarius, talk the Ritricks? I don't know what that is.
My God.
I did my best. Valerie Wilson, Carrie Ann Castellano.
Hey.
I don't want to fuck that up. She's connected. Cheyenne Eden Finelli, probably connected also. Erica Silberman. Ma'am. Dawn and Tanner. I don't know if it's and or just like the letter N. So thank you, Dawn and Tanner, maybe. Jess Cam, Jennifer New, and Joelis Lopez. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. We can't do it without you. Other producers this week are Zach Golizet. It's his birthday. His brother says he's ugly, but he listens to the show. So sorry, Zach, your brother hates you. Liz Vasquez, Tracy Mitchell, Michael Perry, Susanna Platt, Amanda Knight, Paul Williams, Naomi, I think, Simpson. I think that's what I wrote. Probably not. Ashley Vio, Jennifer Visconti, Christine Leischel, DeAntre, Lindy Simmons, Justin Monroe, Kristen Richards, TJ Bartlett, Peyton Meadows, Amanda Turner, Will with no last name, Jean Lyon, James Martyr, John DeLong, John Knickerbocker, Christy Dodson, I think.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. Jillian Grazioso.
Fuck up all the Italian names I noticed. This guy's got a terrible Italian.
I love spaghetti. I really do, and on every other.
I love spaghetti.
Every other goddamn thing you guys make. Reagan Shaukley, Stephen Schnell. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Alex Robertson. What is that? Alzia? No. Alex Marchintante? No. Isabel O'Brien.
Sorry, paisans.
Sabrina Lewis. Lex Lozia. Alex Lozoya.
Hey.
Mariah Kip Sousley. Maria Kip. It's just Kip Sousley on Twitter, I think. Michael, Sentiani. Kim Perry. Adrian Trill, Ben Lambert, Anthony Knott, Gabija Nate, Raphael Corno, Sam and Wendy Susan Stalker, Liz Bryan, Eric Smith, Ali Smith, Janice Hill, Robin Anderson, Ma G, Megan Malcolm, Thomas.
Yep, I got it. I got this one, everybody.
Thomas Brown, Danielle, Jackie Sukup, Rachel Lambert, Jonathan West, Monica Bailey, Mindy Debus, Eric Cifelli, I am not aroused by feet. I don't believe you. Diana V, Austin Beamer.
You had to mention that. I can't believe it.
Krista Walker, Stephanie Hicks, Mary Carter Goal, Rosie Pagli.
Again, see, guys,
Capali.
This is on purpose, I think. Now he's got it in for us.
Jerry Exxon, Noah Marby, Rise Probin, Pink Zebra, independent consultant Dominique Baljoma, probably not. Jocelyn Meyer, Lisa Cirilli. I'm not doing that on purpose. All right.
I love it.
Chase Forbes, Jillian Lindemann, Laura Blakesley, Joe Leslie, Ava Atkinson, Matt Nixon, Kristen Olden, Katie Price, Christopher Palco, Andy with no last name, Amanda Rutherford, Laura Reyna, Stanton Parson, Dick Minge. Yeah. I said it again. Anthony Columbero, Laura.
Hey! Oh! Holy shit!
Laurel Christie.
I'll call the headquarters and let them know.
Nicole Moore, call the Knights of Columbus.
I'll call the Knights of Columbus Hall and let them know it's the Sons of Italy Hall. I'll give a call down there.
Sony Backlum. I don't know. Quinn Kunzikinski? No.
All right, take that, Polacks. One for you.
Allison Mead, Jamie Newsom, Matt Zick, Nicole Allison, Keith Marker, Marler, Tanya H., Alexander Reinert, probably not, Emily Malinowski, Jennifer Wright, Kathia, Alvarenga, I don't know.
Okay.
Jessica Dixon, Michaela Danby, David Tatcharus, damn it, Tatterzook, Andrea Lura, Paige with no last name, Ryan Daxton, Jess Liu, Mark O'Brien, Jester Lackey, Lauren Gray, Lizzie Stumbaugh, Mate Ruiz Smith, no, Matey, Mayette.
Maybe like he's a mate.
Rice Williams.
What's up, mate? Thanks, mate.
Lee Main, Trisha Hinkle, Lucy Vasquez, Allie Kirk, Carlton Klein, Benjamin Baker, Ja with no last name, so obviously Rule. Josh
clearly.
Brooks.
Thanks, Ja.
Brent Howard, Jacob with no last name, Kelly Carlson, Kay Birch, Allison Davenport, Tyler with no last name, Craig Livermore. No, Norman. What? Dominique Cherie, Hayden Owens, Elizabeth Dixon, Jennifer Long O'Hare, Damon Thompson, Jacob Stormont, Martin Lewis Williams. What? William White, Krista Graham, Jeremy Scribner, Summer Stanley, Cassandra Pyle Bacho, Gina Dillon. Stephen, no, that's Sean. Briley. Stephen, that's why. Steve Tancredi. Shannon Sullivan. William Wetzel of the Pretzel Fortune.
Thank fuck.
Tyler White.
Some of that pretzel money up in this bitch.
Tyler Whalen. Tyrus Blasey.
I'm spending pretzel money this month, everybody.
Deanna Buck. Tim McBride. Dylan Alexander. Sean Kelly. Robert Cook. Fred Widmore. Neva with no last name. Alexandra Studer. Aaron Fischel. Lisa Atkinson. Siobhan Valley, I think. Chris Gregory, Stephanie Olgan, Martin Williams, Dustin Manley, Megan Matthews, Angela Russell, Amanda Hickling, Miles Wilson, Robert with no last name, Krista Hale. What is that? Oh boy, Zach Allen. That's what that is.
Hey.
Good Lord. James Jordan, Bradley Vander Kay. I think. Paul Vamonos. Michael Miller, Cameron Big Sexy Ortega. No, you don't get to do that.
Come on.
Jacob Bender, Kevin Buckley, John B. Taylor, Charles. Oh boy, what did I do? Ovesny, Kyle O'Coin.
He's going to change his name to Charles. Oh boy, what did I do?
Katie Wallace, Jeffrey Steelflex? Probably. What? No, it's not. How dare you?
It's a porn name.
It's it is Jeffrey, or is it Jefferson?
Does it matter, really? The first name? The first name's irrelevant here.
Andrew Simon, Ann Peacock, Char Green, Jesper Nohage, Morgan Skeen, Mel Quinn, James Skellman, Stephanie Steen, Jay McFarland, Marguerite Stigliano. Yes. Sicily. No.
Yes.
That's not it either. Ah, shit. Siciliano, right?
Okay.
With the G, the G's silent? I don't know.
It depends on, yeah.
Probably. Marguerite.
It's a Marguerite.
Certainly yeah. Liz Cummings, Michael Hartley, Paige and Julie, Chris Davis, Lindsay Jarmaine, Mel Hancock, Jack Shaw, Dim Huggan. I dig that.
Nice.
Very impressive. Okay. Rebecca Sykes, Jay Sean Martin, Jamie Moy, what is that? Solana, Don, Enrique Amparo. Jessica with no last name. Chris with no last name. Lou with no last name. Jamie Houseman. Sophia Rosselli. Yep. Samantha Domina. JB Mark Schrade. Daniel. Carlos Rodriguez Figueroa. Bryce Frisky. Denise Bray. Daryl Fordham. Sybil Starr. Cody with no last name. Rebecca Harris. Thomas Smither. Larry Butterfast, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Definitely.
Shannon with no last name. Roseanne Hatch, Evan Gorey, Rebecca Stearns. No, Jacob Stearns. What?
The hell did Rebecca come
Sorry,
from?
Jacob.
Jesus Christ, Jacob.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Wow.
Jesse Cooper.
If you ever transition, now you know. You're Rebecca.
I've picked it for you. Alyssa Nesbitt, Beth Hicks, Caden Carpenter. Yeah. Carla Jerez, Sarah Cribb, Emily Peters, Aaron McCain, Louise, Ryan or Ren, Rue, Lori Allen, Lowry Creech, Madeline Everarts, Monica Nelson, Melanie Martin, Rock City Games, Aaron Clark, Catherine Blankenship, Amy Easton, Christina Trent, Dean with no last name, Aaron McPhee, Atticus with no last name, Junebug Jones, probably the best name this week.
That's a good one.
Carr, James McQuaid, Julie Fierro, Jocelyn Converse, what? Fierro and Converse?
Yeah, cool.
Carista Medler, Caleb Jester. We're getting close, man.
I like it.
No, we're not.
No?
God damn it.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you,
fuck
guys.
it. We love
so
you
much.
guys. Thank you.
Brianne Johnson, Lindsay with no last name, Renee Wilson, John Broyles, Devin Sylvia, Kate Norton, Dulce with no last name, Aaron Jones, Candace. Dora, is that Jora? Leahy, Sydney with no last name, Regina Clifton, Laura Cole, Eric Lord, Jennifer Kilpatrick, Heather Trump, Gabija Voice Visa, Nettie, nope, I'm so sorry, Adrian Padilla, Mike Pisani, Carly Keir, Caitlin Horton, JB, Laura Sauter, Jacob Turner, Andrea O'Rourke, Jared Butler, Jake Metter, Jamie O, Damian Buchemin, Chantel with no last name, Sherry Littlefield, Dave Bond Keene, God damn it, Samantha Worry, Pam Bellinger, Desiree Navarro, Jacob Chardonnay, Chauvinard, Bethany Pryor.
Working hard, Jim.
I'm doing my Marley Gore, Sarah Dempsey, Marley Gore, Jordan Kuykendall, Becky Copley, Dan Moran, Matilda Carter, Jessica Sprankle. MG, is that MG Hudson? I hope. Alex Davis, Hannah Davis, Gertej Baines, I'm sorry. Slick Rick, Cy Cannon, Jake Merceau, Matt Sillette, Trent Becker, Lisa Becker, Sarah Cleveland, Maria Radcliffe, Annette Acevedo, Ines Ishmael, Meg Srendel. I'm so bad at this. Dario Moyes. Summer Sidney. Summer Sidney. Amanda Gallipo. Melissa Randall, Allison Tate, Sylvia Smith, Melissa Schmaltz, Heather Hardman, Alicia Horner, Taters, what up? I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
But that's a thing.
What up, Tater?
Josh Melhorn, Shay Martin, Christy O'Donnell, Leanne Hatch, Monica James, Stephen Rossiter, Molly with no last name, Dee Marie, Shelley Vandenberg, Robin Jarul Setley, Moore with no last name, Cody Purcell, Ryan Andrews, Joseph Miller, Tion Marsh. Now we're close, guys.
Hey.
I think. No, we're not. What happened here? How did I get so deep? I don't know. That sounded gross.
Get so deep.
Fotinos, Jacques Delisle, Peyton Sports Girl, Erica Herrera, G Girl, Cassie Kennedy, Jillian Proctor, Ashley Britton, Rebecca Fuller, Alex with no last name, Rory Owen, Cam, Void, Bryce, Abigail Hall, Amanda Sherrill. No. Stephen Nutter, Kendon, Adam Pulvermacher, Hannah Swan, Andrew Clark, Messaid, Janet M, Sarah White, Katie Hoffman, Kyle Boyack, and then another Kyle Krasowski, Nina Tedeschi, Rachel Strauss, Elizabeth Milbert, Mike Schmidt Jr. Probably not. Really? Maybe.
That's possible.
So.
We don't know.
Murray? No. Mark. Merv Speaker? I don't think so. I think it's Myra. Samantha with no last name. Danielle Dole, Bob's daughter. John Wegner. Serena Hernandez. Daisy Ray Hayes. Lindsay Burns. Nicholas. Allie Miller. Andrew Gillen. Michelle Corbett. Crystal Malinowski. Raymond Smith, Sarah Kirschman, Natalie Foster, Elle Derby, Lindsay Redmond, Ralph Benetti, Jason Owens Addison, Lacey Ford, Harry Bridges. It's Gross Bridges.
Hey.
Jennifer Justice Thompson, Justice Johnson, Monica Bingham, Sarah Chauman, Akina with no last name, Elliot Rise Coleman, Jessica McArdle, Niall Gargan, Derek Matthias, Genevieve Capral, Andy with no last name, Lynn Hollier, Trevor Porter, Francis with no last name, Kyle McHenry, Johnny Block, Brent Sheik, Caleb Brown, Casey Taylor, Miranda Ekstrom, Mackenzie Heron, Katie Watchstein, Tom Kohler, Megan McDonald, Ashley Porter, Brian Johnson, Annette Fries, Brandon Hall, Nathaniel Redicop, Mary Letta Morgan, Danielle Rickles, Elizabeth Gidland. Now we're close, I swear to God. Thank you guys so much for supporting what we do. Josh Tompkins, Mark Chenier, Jenny Siegel, Ryan Beer, Tyler Sharp, Carly with no last name, Emma Jones, Jonathan Cox, Jackie Edmiston, Janica with no last name, Nathan Ebaugh, Tyler Dean, Rachel Colleen, Rachel Schulteis, Unicorn Husker, Philip Patrick Breton, Justin Smoleski, Ryan Phillips, Melanie Zocketel, Brett Sparks, Tyler Scara, Hay P. Roy, David Mahi, Chelsea Guild, Casey McAllister, Stephanie McClintock, Austin Horton, Laura McAllister, Zach W., Dylan Maphis, Ann Siegel, Penny D., Christy Larson, Neil Waugh, Mike Spradlin, Michael Schmidt, Erica Zofchak, Sherry Borner, Colin Etheridge, Samantha Simmons, Danny Hale, Jay the Man 7724.
Oh, well, Jay the Man.
Very specific man. Cole McGregor, Travis Croxford, Becky McKay Schultz, Ashley Razan, Leroy Walker, Selena Vignaud, Andrea Alacron, Christina Young, Mara Spencieri, Petey Dinky, Kelly with no last name, Anna Morrison, Ian Mitchell, Denise Giardini, You are right, by the way. You're onto it. It's the Italian
you
ones
have a hard
really
one with that.
Me over.
It's all those vowels.
Caitlin,
no.
Caitlin Bach, Chris Cotting, Matt Elmer, T3DRUX. I think that's somebody's license plate. Jonathan Packer, Haley Pierre Ramsdell, Ryan Wolf, Petey Dinky. I think I said that. Dylan Landquist, Julia Lyons, Eric Willis, Russ Palmer, Angel Kurtik, Sean Breen. What is this? Katie Latulip, Linda Duran Campbell, Lion Wegman, Katie Devlin, Noah Chapman, Katie Watkins, Dylan Hamrick, Karen Dowd, Stormy B with no last name, Aaron Stackman, Brianna Stinson, Matt McLean, Casey Locke, Amber Parker, Caleb Michael, and we are home stretch, my friend. Alyssa Skorich, Sarah Dunn, Nikki Crafey, Marshall Erickson, Candy Simmons, Caitlin Parsons, Austin Christie, Lindsay Furster, Jesse Shingle, CJ Brigman, Harrison Fryermuth, Brielle Doubtright, Megan Magley, Mitchell with no last name, Brianna Wright, Jenny Stiegel, David Mahi, Erica Moore, Demetrius Fries, Matthew Clark, Vance Casey, Kim Sullivan, Jen Marie, Veronica Botello, Adam Jones, Foxhole Atheist, T. Wood, Dyke Memes. I hope. Oh boy, you son of a bitch! What? Cameron Now, Dr. Greggles, Laura Blakesley, and all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Yeah. Honestly, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate everything you do for us and for hanging with us and everything like that. And we realize that, anything we said at the beginning of the show, it's going to piss some people off, and we're going to lose some people, and that's fucking life. Yeah. We are humans, and we're going to say how we feel, and we're not going to make it what the show's about, but if something crazy happens and there's something that major, we can't just ignore it, and we're not going to.
We're not going to be silent on an issue that's something that we should all be together about.
No one's going to tell you who to vote for here. No. That's not what it is. But if something is like this, is a fucking black and white fucking clear goddamn fucking issue.
Right.
You know what? I'll go in a little deeper on this.
Will you, James?
For 2 seconds, let's go into this because this is bullshit.
This is a high dive.
And everybody fucking knows this. I am so fucking mad at those other 3 fucking cops for not going, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Not even in a fucking way of like, yeah, let's get him up now. Let's get him in the car. Every time I've ever watched something, the reason you put your fucking knee in someone's back is so you can frisk and cuff them so they cannot hurt you. Once they're frisked and cuffed, you pick them the fuck up because they have handcuffs on. And if you are too big of a pussy to control a fucking person in handcuffs behind their back, you don't deserve your fucking badge or your gun or your fucking car or anything else. Go work at fucking Walmart and stock a shelf. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's where you fucking need to be.
You should be doing.
You're too fucking pussy and scared to do anything else.
Something with less danger in it because you can't do it.
4 fucking men should be able to control a handcuffed fucking person, period. Especially one who's not fucking resisting.
Yeah.
Stop it. Cut the shit out. So there. Fuck it. Sorry. I didn't mean to get that specific, but I'm so pissed off about it. It makes me so fucking mad.
And it's not the first. That's the problem.
That's the other thing.
That's the problem.
And it's not even thought of as a fucking thing. And the reason why he stayed on it is because everyone around there was saying to get off of him. Yeah. That's why he stayed on there.
Because he's proven a point.
He's proving a fucking point.
Fucking asshole.
And I think a lot of this, and I'll go off on a little half thing, I think a lot of this, the reason why a lot of these cops are so fucking aggressive like this is because a lot of states, before you're allowed to be a cop, what do you have to do? What do you have to do first?
Not a lot.
Be a prison guard.
Oh, is that
a lot of them
right?
make you be a fucking prison guard.
Know that.
A lot of states, you have to be a prison guard for like 2 years
so
or 6 months or a year.
Intimidation tactics.
So you have to go into a place where everybody's already convicted and guilty and is a dangerous place and fucking control it because it's you controlling 40 dangerous men. So if you don't fucking control them, they're going to attack you.
Oh, boy.
So then they bring that attitude on the street.
That's a terrible plan.
You can't do that.
Who thought of that?
I don't know. That's like you got to pay your dues type of thing. It's
Fuck
like, no,
that.
those are separate things.
No.
Prison is all about keeping people fucking in.
Right.
The outside is all about talking.
We're about to be out. We can be out.
99% of your job should be your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
You can talk people in any direction you want. That should be that's the skill I wanted a fucking cop.
Right.
Talk.
Yeah.
Learn how to fucking talk.
And then when that doesn't work, fucking listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
And then if somebody's fucking trying to beat your ass, do what you got to do.
Right.
But otherwise, don't fuck with people.
Right.
That's it. That's all we ever ask. That's it. That's not asking a lot. That's not a controversial stance. And if you think it is, then you're a fucking asshole.
You are.
Period.
Yeah.
Sorry. And that goes for cops too. There are fucking 90. I would hope, I pray to God that 90% of cops would agree with what the fuck we're saying right now.
Yeah.
I really fucking do. I hope so. Because if they didn't, then I'm really scared for our fucking, I don't want to go out in the street at that point because it's crazy.
And the other point is that if these stories are not in the press, if people do not see these, if somebody didn't tape that, we wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reporting of it is part of the reason that people are afraid and don't want to talk to cops. So fucking act right, we'll act right, and we all get along. It's not that fucking hard.
Now, what if someone wanted to complain about what we just said on social media?
You can
How
find
could they?
Me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Please, not even Snapchat. It's just Twitter and Instagram.
That's fine.
Either way, find me. I would love to tell you to never listen to me.
That's
talk
fine.
to me. I don't want to talk to you.
You can find me at Jimmy P is funny. And by the way, if you're going to bitch at us, at us, not the fucking show.
Leave the show alone.
Don't get my wife involved in this. Sarah doesn't need to fucking argue
Sarah.
with you. She's meaner than I am, so don't worry about it. You don't want to talk to her. You come at me, and we'll fucking get into it. But do that. Yeah. We're here. We stand behind what the fuck we say.
Last point. It's not new. This isn't fucking new.
Jesus, no.
I was detained by police so many times as a kid, as a teenager, with my black friends. My backpack stuffed with weed and coke. They told me to get lost and not be around these gentlemen. And they searched them, let them go. My friends just had the wherewithal to put the weed in the white kid's bag.
Yeah,
that's
he's small
the point.
and white.
That's
got
the
glasses.
point. I was always let go. I get why. I know why. And if you think that's wrong, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah, no, it's
that
true.
happens, and it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. And if you're like watching live PD, go, white people are getting arrested all the time. Yes, and they're on meth most of the time. So
they're on meth, driving a vehicle with no license,
with no
and they're
license
drunk.
plate, zipping across 4 fucking lanes, then getting out and going, "What, motherfucker?" And they're not getting any, and they're still walking away under their own power. You know,
it happens. It's happened for a long time,
death
and
is a
it
different
hasn't
thing.
stopped.
Yes.
So just understand that things need to change, and we're moving there.
That's a good shit. So that said, everybody, I think that's about a good place to leave it. Until next week, everybody. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.